What is going on, everybody? Robert and Zach are with me.
Hey.
Put up the Husbandry Pro logo, and we are good to go.
Beautiful.
We're live. So
I can't even tell. How do you tell how many people are in?
Right now, we have 34 and counting.
There you go. Hello, 34 people.
Hello, everyone.
Do we have monsters tonight? Oh, no monsters.
I'm on this new thing now, man. I haven't had a monster in like 9 days, and I'm hardly even drinking coffee, so I love it.
I bet you're feeling better. Like it takes a good week. Like,
you know what? It's funny. I'm from 2 to 3 coffees a day and a monster, sometimes 2 to absolutely none, and I have more energy and I feel better. So this intermittent fasting, man, I swear by it.
Jesus, no thanks.
So,
seems like no food. Probably not good for a diabetic either.
Actually, it's amazing for a diabetic because it's actually, I was pre-diabetic, and I'm going to go get my blood work done in another month, and they're going to say I'm free and clear.
Right. Now, my daughter kicked the diabetic thing, but for me, if I don't eat, my sugars drop, so I would never be able to
yeah, see, because you're doing it wrong. But anyways, I'll talk to you.
You sound like my wife.
So you actually beforehand backstage, you said that we might be able to do this, maybe once a month, or bring up things that are new and maybe some Q&A and stuff.
You know what? I think now that we're hitting the shows and stuff like that, I find that we get it's so valuable to me to hear the feedback, and the more we do these things, the more feedback we're going to get. So why not utilize that and just kind of sit around and shoot the shit and go over a few things. And there's going to be stuff that I've forgotten that Zach's going to know, or that you're going to know, and things like that we can circle back to. And every time we do shows like this or anything like this, we find things that, oh yeah, that would be much better to do it this way or something else. So, we're going to start reaching out a little bit more and talking to people a little bit more. And that's a lot of Zach's job too, is getting into the community and talking to people and finding out what they need and what they love and what they don't love and that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and if everybody wants to save some of the questions until the end or later, we'll have a, or something pops up, just put it in the chat and I'll bring it up. And hopefully one of us or all of us can answer it. So we're at 53 and counting.
Excellent. So I can pull this
Everyone
on YouTube.
Saying hello.
Say to see the chats.
Yeah, or I'll just pull it up. So say for example,
we can see it.
Yeah, I can just go like Shannon from, says, Parts up.
What's up, Shannon?
And then, smart people, awesome. They put comments like this, smash the like button, So, yeah, so if there's ever a question in there, you can do it too. But if I see anything, I can pop it up and we can answer it. And that way everybody knows what we're talking about, hopefully.
Sounds great.
So where are we getting started?
Okay. I just think, what were you going to say something, Zach? So I think basically I jotted down some notes. On, I think, kind of a logic on where to start and take a look at some of the features that are available to breeders, and kind of at the breeder level is where we're shooting for a lot of the extra features and a lot of the fine tuning and things like that. So I want to go back and kind of start with the foundation of kind of the first thing we started with, and then go through to where we are today. And I'm not going to be able to give too much about where we're going in the future, but we'll maybe touch on a couple of things. But I think so with the breeding features, we're looking to really help people not just manage their collection, but sell their collection and organize their collection for sale. So whether it be a forward fronting page or some of the show features that we've put in, I think we're trying to bring it all together that way, so that we've got a nice package to help you manage things. So I think the first thing we did along those lines is putting in different pricing. Now, I don't know, you can see my screen? Well, do you want to pop up my screen, Billy? I think you have to do it. Awesome. So I think one of the first things we did was we put in, and jump in, guys, at any time when I'm going off the rails or something, because that's going to happen, or I'm going to the wrong spot. But if we're actually going to commerce here and we go to price list, pricing allows you to set up the multiple prices. See, you do use it more than I do.
Every week.
Okay. Okay. So what we can do is
do this every week.
with the pricing. What we've allowed, I think it may be a little confusing when you go to this table here. You see a wholesale price and a sale price. So the sale price is just the regular price that you would have on your animal. But what this new feature does is it allows you to create multiple pricing levels, and they don't just have to be, a retail and a wholesale price. They can be a multitude of different levels of pricing. So when you go up to this corner over here, you can press that button and pull this up and basically create any that you want, name it anything you want, give it a discount or a dollar price change, plus or minus. And
like for Billy, you could do like a Patreon group. Your Patreon gets special pricing. I know some of the breeders do that. You can have that set up in there.
Exactly. So you have so you can set any level you want. And then you can also apply this price to your store at any given time. So we'll go ahead and create, like a discount weekend price when you're going to a store. And then you can make that pricing active on your public store.
So a lot of people do that, like Boxing Week sale, tax time, need to pay the tax time sale, something like that. So this could be,
it's Black Friday shopping down here. It's
Black Friday as well. Yeah. So this could be good because I haven't done this yet. I've seen it briefly, but I haven't done it. So I'm be learning as well.
So you can also then after you create your pricing, you can actually take this table back here that I had, and instead of having that column there, you can change which column shows, and it could be a different pricing level as whichever one you set. If I set it at the super discount price, that's the pricing level that's going to show in that column now. And you can change this, at any time you want to do that. So after you've created that pricing, you can then go and create a price list to go along with it. And you can name it anything you want. And we also can see.
Of course you froze, Robert.
I thought it was me.
Oh, Robert.
I'll help a little bit. So you can make a custom pricing list here, and there's custom features for that as well. So like you want to send someone your price list. On the top drop down that you can see there where it says black and white, you do your little drop down there. You pick out your one you've set up and be like, oh, this is my Patreon price list. If a Patreon member shoots you a list, oh, hey, here you go. Or your wholesale price list. Your wholesaler's looking for a list. You go down, you select your wholesaler, you go through, check the boxes right there where he's got the blue check marks. Take the stuff off you don't want to send to the wholesaler because he's not getting the good stuff. And then create your pricing list, and you can send him that custom price list that you've got made up for him with custom text in the top, custom text in the bottom, and you can just make it however you want. He'll be back in a second. His system froze. I already know.
So I'm just wondering. So I don't know if it's necessary or not, but I'm just wondering if I could have my regular price, my sale price, and a wholesale price all in one view. If I could select both, or is it just one or the other? And I know Robert's going to ask me, it's like, well, why do you want to have them all on one sheet? I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So
you can have them all on one sheet. So you go into the pricing stuff and you set up your little extra tiers. And like he showed you the super awesome discount or whatever he labeled it. And then there was wholesale. Well, you can check the box to have all three of them on there so you can adjust them at the same time. And then when you go to your actual price list screen to send it out to somebody, it's the same thing. All those fields are going to be in there. You can uncheck any one of them you don't want to create. So you can have them all right there ready for you. But you don't want to send this list to that guy or that list to that guy. So you can just uncheck a box, boom, send them a list like that. I don't have different price list templates. I have one price list, and I set it up once. It's nice on the top and bottom. And just depending on who I'm sending it to, I unselect the wholesale price list or the regular price list. And so I just do it like that way because my wholesaler is getting the same header and footer that my regular customers is going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because I get a lot of lower end stuff that some of the local stores or people call up and say, hey, do you do wholesale? I'm like, I do. It's like, then it's like, oh, I got to go and look, find stuff that, under a certain amount. Then I got to adjust the pricing. And it's always when I'm the busiest. So if I already had it like 90% done, I just go click wholesale and now it's there. Then I can just email it to them right away.
And here's a good one for you, Billy. Do you play with the tags at all?
Not as much as I should. I mean,
Okay.
I do have a few, but not many.
So
I do it very
an awesome
basic.
tag I use is wholesale. Yeah, the awesome tag I use is wholesale. When you're setting your animals up in the system, I know that this is like, fodder, wholesale. And so when I'm going in there, I can add the tag wholesale. And so now my wholesaler messages me. I just go to my filter and I say wholesale, boom, pops up everything I need.
Awesome.
Print price list, boom, there you go, in just a couple clicks. And so it's just a little extra second to just add the tag wholesale to something that is wholesale, or you can go back and add it later. But I do it when I'm adding them in. Like I you do this a lot. Whenever you pull stuff out of the clutch, you pretty much know what's whole and what's not. And you just
So I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm making now, especially the doubles and the triples, even some of the males, it's like, I've been making stuff where, when it comes right out of the clutch, I don't really know, because like, say for example, I'm doing like hypopide, ultramel hypopides. So I'm, sometimes it's a male. I got a clown double het. Now I got a pied double het. So, I always look later and say, okay, what do I need from these clutches? Because I don't want to just have one male. I want to have multiple. And I also want to see how they age. And, when I have multiple clutches of the same thing, I mean, Austin bugs me all the time about this. It's like, Billy, why you have these? Oh, because it's, Orange Dream, Enchi, Hypo, Het Pied. You got 5 others and you got 2 breeders. Oh, why do you need these other 4? So it's hard when you do at a clutch, at a time. Oh, I'm going to keep all these. Well, if you did that 7 other clutches, you don't really need to keep them. So I'm in that what Robert Cards. Oh, that's a Billy problem. So,
and so what you can do for that one also, like you don't want to add the wholesale tag in there, like you're adding a tag for wholesale. Whenever you're going through and you're like, okay, it's the day. These wholesalers are bugging me. I got to do it. I have a lot of time for them. You can go through your animals list and you can do a bulk edit. And then you just go through, select the ones like, okay, now I know, and bam, 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 select these 27, bulk edit, add tag, wholesale, done. Boom. I just marked all 27. Literally in the time it took me to say that is how long it takes me to do it.
We do have a quick question. And it's Robert from Zivs Exotic says, can you get to other people's stores from your account?
Yes and no. So you can go to the market and it's not a searchable store. So you can't search inventory from other people, but you could go to the store's listing. We've always had these /stores. If you go Husbandry Pro /stores, it's just changed its name to market now. And it lists breeders that have made their stores public. So you can just click on a store. So you would have to know.
So why don't you do that? Just show them how to do that. So I'm going to put this back up. So if you want to just go to another tab.
Yep.
Or,
Yeah.
Husbandry Pro.
And this is the new one, right? We're showing them the new stuff here with the searchable store.
Oh, it actually went right into my store. Yeah.
No, you want to go to market. There you go.
So there's the stores list there. And you would have to know the store that you're looking for. Or you can't search.
Is there a search feature?
Just for the store animals themselves. So
okay.
we're not intending to roll this out as a full featured, classified ad system or anything like that. We've had this feature from
day one almost.
Really.
Yeah, but now you can go in there from one place, scroll through, search, see what breeders are in there. You're like, oh, I recognize that guy. Let me look and see what he's got. And then you can click on him and see. Or if you're just wondering if there's a certain user, like, hey, does this guy use Husbandry Pro? Search for name.
On your reptiles. I know that guy.
Yeah, so there we go in there, and there's the new store, the way that looks.
Awesome.
All right, you can do dark or light, whichever you prefer.
Cool.
Okay, on that too. So let me. Where did you guys finish? You didn't finish at all, did you? I thought you'd be done by the time I got back.
No. We talked a little bit about the page you were on, and then I stalled, Robert.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So basically, you can set up here any different themes that you want and templates. So you can select a different template here or a different design here. And these are the stock designs. So we've got some in there. If you have a color scheme or something you want to change, you can change the colors on all these and make different printed price list designs, and you can store as many different ones as you want, change the logo and everything else. You can make one a wholesale, one a retail, and you would select your, which one you want to use here and go ahead and print out your price list or download CSV or XLS.
Oh, that's cool.
There we go.
When you were gone, I was saying, say for example, I don't want to, I guess when you print it off, you don't want to see it. But I was saying, if I could have my sale price, wholesale price, and my special price, if I could select those options, like, how you go in and you select the field.
So when we're back here, you can select what is going to print here, right? You would go ahead and whether you want your super discount to print or your regular price to print.
But now, say for example, is there any way that I could have price, wholesale, and super discount on this?
I think they're built for a certain number of columns, and once you start adding more, we can definitely get it to add another column to that, right? So you could. I'm wondering if it's set up, it shows on this page. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, you can check it, but I'm pretty sure. Like, it gets to a certain point and you've added too much stuff. But if you remove another column, like, I don't want to see this or that, you can get that extra third column up there.
Yeah.
As long as there's room for it.
The reason is because I like to see, like, it's like, okay, well, this is my wholesale price, and here's this, what's my, it just gives me a gauge between all three, not that I'll ever print all three off, because I can, like you said, when I go to print, I'll deselect, the wholesale price. And I'll just put regular price and super discount price to customers. And then I can put the regular price and wholesale price to people that are getting it wholesale. I just select.
Right. So right now you would select here your wholesale or super discount, and that's what would show up here. Because if I hit apply on my wholesale, this column will change.
Oh, yeah, that's what I noticed. You only get one or the other.
Right. Currently, we can only do the two.
It's not a big deal, but I was just thinking if you could, it might come into play and handy.
We absolutely can. I think if enough people ask for that, to have all the prices shown, we can do it. But you can also export.
Do we have table settings? Do we have table settings right there in that screen, Robert, like we do on the actual pricing page?
No. Oh, yeah, there it is.
No, this is for the actual template creation. So there's no table settings here. So we can add the table settings there.
Yeah,
providing it works with the export template. Zach's getting a piece of paper. Okay, this is for the guys in the morning. So let's get that added if that helps. It should be a quick and easy fix, and that's the other thing that we're noticing as we go along is that we'll see something in one page that we've done great or somebody's asked for. And then there are times when we've neglected to go back and flow it through to every other similar type
page
feature, right? Yeah. Like if it's a table thing, those table features should kind of be available in other tables too, right? So it's always somebody asks for a feature, we want to push it out, we want to get that feature out there. But in doing so, there are times when we say, we need to go back and go, hey, we should have implemented that here also, and here also, and here also. So we'll catch those things up for sure. But here's one of them, and we'll get that one done for sure.
Okay, here's another question that's come up a few times.
Yep.
Will HP ever have a marketplace like Morph Market?
I would really like to work with Morph Market is what I'd like to do. So I don't know. Today I can say it's not in the immediate plans. We have a lot of other things that we want to do and we want to focus on.
Because we always had this, the sole focus when we designed this, or when you had it, and when I got on board at the very beginning, it was solely for a husbandry app, and what it's got into now is way beyond both of what we ever thought it would be. But, it's a husbandry app.
Right.
I think if I can for just a second, we're trying to make it the app for everything. You can go here, you can do everything here, all of your business, anything you need to do to run your snake business. And when we already have these people in place like Morph Market who are doing a listing site, and he's doing a pretty good job over there. Why do we need to reinvent the wheel? We would rather integrate these things and have you have the availability to be able to use that from our system without having to go to that system. And that's where we would like to be ultimately, if we can get Darian
integrate
to play nice with us and stuff. We'd like to be able to market for sale in our system. And when it goes live on your store, it goes live in Morph Market. And that's a goal we would like to work towards, that we've been working on. It hasn't panned out yet, but it's still something in the cards.
And the other thing too is that as we look for partnerships and building the business and things like that, we also are, focused on our breeders, because we did, for the last 4 weeks, we've been working on the Shopify module, which will allow you, any animal that you have for sale, click a button, it goes on to Shopify. As we were launching it, news came out that Shopify has stopped allowing live animal sales or live reptile sales at the very least.
So I had a question on that, like something we might want to follow up in. I was talking to some people, and it seems like it may just be the Shopify payment processing. Like you can still sell your animals on there if you have a different payment processor, maybe. I haven't utilized it, so I don't know. I feel like I need to reach out and get a little feedback on that this week.
So we'll reach out to Shopify. That makes sense. And if you can select, if you can integrate Square or Stripe instead into your payment systems for Shopify, the app is live right now. I just haven't pulled the plug on it. Having said that, the open cart module is available now. So if you have an open cart site or you want to start an open site cart, reach out to us. So, we can give you some guidance on where to go and how to do that. But we also have the WordPress and WooCommerce site coming out, or module coming out. So that should satisfy, the other portion of the people that want to run their own third-party site. So ideally, we would love to integrate with Morph Market, push things to more, and anybody else. We have the API and we have the technology already in place to do that. And in fact, we're building other things currently that integrate with our API, So we're all about third parties. We're all about dealing with other great companies in the industry to try and help the industry. It's not just about us.
So here's a question that's sort of related. What are your thoughts on more payment processing companies banning animal sales?
That's a payment.
Roll with the punches.
Yeah. There's options. There's Stripe, there's Square, there's PayPal, there's Moneris. There's a fair amount of them. I can't see them. I can't see Stripe backing down. I can't see Square. They're payment processors, right? What other actual pay? Like to me, Shopify is not a payment processor.
No,
Shopify is a
selling websites,
provider. Right. They're an e-commerce provider, right? So in doing so, they became their own payment processor also after the fact, and then that's probably where things get sticky. So I think with Stripe, I think you're going to be fine. And I think with Square, you're going to be fine. And PayPal might not.
And honestly, we have a team of developers dedicated to this site, which is, something dissimilar to other systems that do the same thing. And we're always just going to roll with the punches. We're going to adapt. We're going to modify, like we were rolling out the Shopify thing, hey, it happened. We had to pump the brakes on that, like we just spent all the time developing it. But we have the ability to do that. They shut it down.
Same thing to Robert.
Something new.
Yeah, many years ago, I'm like, hey, you know what? Why don't we have our own, processing, And Robert's like, do you know what it would take to do that and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, but we can do it, right? It's like
anything's possible, absolutely.
Yeah. You never know. I mean,
the headache, And it's just like somebody who Zach said it to me. How about a forum? It's like those are places that I can't even imagine the type of trouble that you have to deal with a payment processor, with forums, with even Herp Social. That for us was an experiment. Build it for the community. If they want to use it, great. And the cost and the management time is excessive compared to other things. Keeping an eye on it, all that kind of stuff. So there are things we'll stay away from for sure.
So here's a question. Rimley asked, can multiple be logged in at the same time? And if so, do you need to set up usernames and passwords? Now, is that on every level, or is that only on the top two, breeder and commerce?
So if you want to have different users, breeder and up, you have multiple users. So you can have additional users for breeder level and up. You cannot have multiple users for lower accounts, but two people you can log in from two different platforms at the same time. So you could use it on iOS at the same time you're using it on Android, at the same time you're using it on your desktop with that account, but you'll never know who did what, right? Because it's the same account and you're sharing passwords. And we also recommend going with, two-factor authentication always, right? So those things are kind of important for security. But if you're sharing your password, 2 people can use it. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
yeah, like
and
for,
if you
for
are
example,
using, go ahead.
For example, me and my daughter do all of this, and she'll log in on a tablet on one end of the room, and I might log in on my phone on the other end of the room, and she's entering data for one thing while I'm entering data for another thing, but we use the same account. I mean, I do have commercial. I do have the ability to do a separate user, but we're in the room doing the same thing. She just logs into the same account I log into. It's not a problem.
Yeah, I have about 6 to 7 different users. Each user is logged in from their a separate email and their own password. And that way, if you are on the breeder or commerce, you can go in and you can select each person's role, what they're allowed to do, what they aren't allowed to do. Most people can view and make changes, but they can't delete or add animals and certain things depending on the user. And I get to, basically dictate that. So it is possible at the higher levels. But knowing that you can do at least 2 people on 2 different devices with the same account is actually pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no security around if you can't afford the higher level, you're not there yet, but you still want to be able to do stuff,
Yeah, we're not going to limit your access to your data, right? So, okay, so let me fire on to this one here because I just want to get through a couple more. So this page now is your commerce page where you're setting up your store. When you set up your store, you now have the ability to turn on payment processing for that page. Now, where do we have that? Zach, it's not on this page, is it?
Invoicing.
There we go. It's on the invoicing.
Yeah, not the store.
Yeah. Well, it affects both places. That's why
we just had this. So is a payment processor like Square able to be linked to your Husbandry Pro store or be linked to invoices you send out? So Andrew, he's going to do it right now. So
exactly.
Good timing, buddy.
We just realized we need to get that added over or linked over to the store in some way.
Exactly. So we need to basically get this button on the store also.
Okay.
So where you click invoice settings. So now can go into invoice settings and look at your payment gateways. And I should probably disable that now. Let me turn that off. Okay. So basically, we'll blur that out. I guess we can't now. Disable that quick.
Go back and delete it.
Exactly. So anyway, basically in here, you would put in your different credentials for either Stripe or Square. I guess Canadians are more used to using Stripe because Stripe, you can have multiple currencies. Square, you have to have only the currency in the country that you're in, in order to sell. So that's why we've chosen both. So if you're only interested in selling in US dollars and you have a Square account, you're good to go. You set up your
we use a ton of Square here. PayPal, not so much.
Exactly. Not so much. Right, exactly. But Stripe is like the largest payment processor in the world. So they're huge. So it's not, it's foreign to me why everybody doesn't know about Stripe. It's very odd.
I've literally never heard of it. I keep calling it Swipe on accident.
Right. So basically, you can put in your credentials here to load up the 3 different payment processors you have. Obviously, you either only have Stripe or Square for credit card, and then you'd have PayPal. Once you've done those settings, your store now has the ability to actually allow somebody to purchase now. So I would go to this animal, or your customer could go to this animal now, hit buy now, fill in all the information. Shipping's the same, phone number, there, any notes. And it pops up this notice here when they're going to purchase that basically covers our ass to make sure that your customer knows that the transaction is between you and them. It has nothing to do with us. I don't want to skim over that too fast. I'd like to point that out because that is a big thing for us specifically, is that we only help you process and connect. That the transaction is 100% between you and the buyer, the seller and the buyer, the buyer and the seller. We are 100% out of it. Exactly.
We're just a portal. That's it.
Exactly. So what so we've forced everybody to agree to 3 things that basically say that, right? Before you can add your own down here, right? You can add, you agree to X number of dollars shipping, or I put in, you agree not to complain, and that's it. So then once they've agreed to all those, you can go ahead and close that.
Your wife.
You can go ahead and close and continue. And once you continue, it'll pull up the payment page and they'll be able to complete the payment. It's actually brighter than this. I've got a security issue right now, it looks like, but they can finish the payment there. It will be marked in your system. You'll get a push notification. You'll get an email notification or an SMS notification that it was sold, and you're done.
So, quick question, Robert.
Sure.
I'm in Canada, obviously,
Yep.
and somebody goes in the U.S. and they go and purchases the animal.
Yes.
And uses credit card.
Yes.
Will that come into U.S. or Canadian, even though all my prices are in U.S. dollars being Canadian?
Right. So, well, how would you post that? If you post it as U.S. dollars, if your site is in U.S. dollars, then you're posting in U.S. dollars.
Okay.
If you're and the transaction will happen in U.S. dollars. And
then,
I believe all the pages say USD or CAD. We've kind of tried to make that clear everywhere.
Okay, and that'll go to sort of like I'm not used to Stripe like Zach.
Okay,
so I use Square. So then it goes to my Square account, and then I have a credit card for my Square that I can utilize, or I can transfer it into my Canadian account. Now, I also have a U.S. account. So can I take that U.S. dollars that I'm selling in and send it to my U.S. account instead of transferring it into a Canadian account being Canadian?
Absolutely. So, well, I don't know if they allow that for security commission and all that kind of stuff. So I accept, we accept money into, well, let me see. So no, so what Stripe does is it puts it into, well, I don't know about Square, but Stripe, you have different accounts. You'll have different denomination accounts and they're automatically created. Every time you make a sale, whether it's, euros or Canadian or US, it goes into your different denominations and then it settles at the end of the day with their exchange rate into Canadian dollars and comes in. So that's how Stripe does.
I can't leave it there if I want to?
Not with Stripe, because that's actually where you have that's where you have legal problems, right? Is holding the money, because Stripe is not a bank, right? So I don't think Square is a bank either. So they shouldn't be allowed to hold money for a certain length of time.
They do, because
my Square holds for the weekend. Like they'll hold for the weekend. They'll hold my weekend, and then on Monday they send it to me. Square will not let me just bank my money with them.
Right. So you say you can
ultimately. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Billy says he can bank the money.
Yeah, I leave it in there, and I have a credit card, and I just use it or transfer it when I want. Like right now, I've got several thousand in Square just sitting there. And I have a credit card, Square credit card. And every time I use the credit card, it comes right out of my funds that they're holding.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing at all. So that may be available. So in order for you to get a credit card, Billy, your account would have to be a Canadian Square account, not a U.S. Square
account. It is, right. And then that's why, it is.
And you can't accept U.S. dollars.
No, that's why I use PayPal only for my U.S. sales, and I use Square only for my Canadian sales. And what's great about that is the accountant knows, well, which one's the U.S., which one's the Canadian. Here's this, here's that. He loves it.
Okay, so basically, long story short, all of your settings you already have up with those other companies are going to work exactly the same. The only thing we're doing is linking that system to your Husbandry Pro.
Perfect.
There's no change. You can't go in Husbandry Pro and change your Square settings or your Stripe settings. You would have to go to Stripe to change that. And once your settings are set up, you shouldn't have to go back there and mess with it. That's what we're going for, is you do it all through Husbandry Pro. But your initial setup with those systems still involves those systems, and those systems dictates how those systems will work inside Husbandry Pro.
Quick question. It might be weird, but if I have a U.S. buyer or a buyer not in Canada, can I have it where when they go and want to buy it, their only option from being out of Canada is PayPal, and then when someone in Canada buys or goes on to buy something, their only option is Square or Stripe?
So we can, I don't know if it's in there or not. It's supposed to be when you send an invoice, that you can select the denominate, like the dollar, the currency.
Oh,
so
like, to what he's saying, that's saying if we're sending an invoice, we're using the buy now feature that we're adding into the store. And if you're using the buy now, how does that work? So,
that would be in whatever dollars you're listing in. If you're listing in US dollars, that's in US dollars. When they pay, it's up to their credit card company what happens when that conversion happens.
So I can pre-select. So if I have somebody from the US say, hey, I want to buy this animal, I'm like, I'll send you an invoice. I can only have it where it's PayPal option only.
Well, you could use Stripe or Square because it's the same system. So you can send an invoice. So in our system, you can go to Commerce, you can go to Invoice, and you can even with the invoicing system now, when you create you can create a
US invoice, Canadian invoice, European invoice.
Correct. So then you would receive it in whatever dollar you've said that the transaction is in.
Okay.
So if you're sending it to a US person, but the other thing that you want to do with this is when you're adding you can do with the add invoice, it's the same thing. You will fill out your invoice completely. So let me run this too while we're here. You can do an invoice and you send this to the user and they can pay it right in their screen because this sends an email. They click a button, it pops up to our screen that says, fill it in, the whole payment process, and you can pay it. But the thing that we've gone with this system is we've also made it easy when you're at a show to create an invoice. So Billy, you got, 5 customers in front of you. People are asking you questions. Somebody wants to buy your snake. You got to do an invoice for them. What do? A lot of people don't use this feature because they're just going to take the cash and give the snake. But there are a lot of people that want books and invoices and everything else for it. So what you can do is you can go here and you can click this little button here that says Get Info. And in Get Info, you can ask your customer for their email address, or you can ask the customer for their mobile phone number. And what it does is
really good at the shows.
Yeah, what it does is, so let me just send one here to whoever. I'll hit send. And what will happen is this will spin here that says, please wait. This is your screen as the seller. Your customer will now on their phone get an SMS notification or an email that says, click here, fill out the information. They click it. It then allows them to fill out all their information. When they hit enter, this will pop up pre-filled. So while they're doing that, you're bagging.
Send me one real quick, Robert.
Send it to you?
Yeah, send me one real quick.
That'd be cool. I want to see this in action because this is pretty badass.
Yeah, we'll do it real quick. This thing is freaking awesome.
Because one thing I don't want to do, I'm at a show, is I don't want to be data entry. You know what I mean?
Use my phone number.
Okay, you got to give it to me, Zach. Now everybody's going to know it.
Use my phone number. Everyone can know it.
Okay, what is it?
903. That's email.
Yep, I see that.
903 819 4805.
I'll go ahead and send that email address.
4805.
You're already in the system.
Oh, no, it's because you got me in Canada. You got a Canada mobile phone number there.
No, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. So hit delete, Robert.
All right, try that. ZPAR part.
Let me just, ZPAR.
There we go. Oh.
What is it?
Yahoo. You send it to the Yahoo one and delete that phone number.
Well, I think it goes to both now. It needs an email address. So our platform actually needs an email address. Okay, so now
I would rather want both anyways, email and phone.
Yeah. So I've sent that now.
Okay, so no, you don't want both because you're having to put this information in here, Billy. And so you just want to put in one. Hey, what do you prefer? Give me your email number or your address or your phone number. They give you the phone number, you put in the phone number, you hit send.
Yeah. So
that's all you put in is whichever one of those two you take. They put in the rest for you.
Okay, perfect. And then when they get it, they can fill out. They'll probably it'll probably ask for the phone number anyways.
Yeah, it does. Right.
That's cool.
Zach's showing you the page that comes to them. Right. And now he's filling it out as I'm bagging or boxing the snake or lizard or ferret or whatever we're selling today.
And as a customer, I've got this in my phone already auto-saved. So I click on the first name, I hit the button, it auto-fills all this stuff out for you. So it's not a pain in the butt for the customer. And then I'm just hitting save changes. Oh, I got to put in my province. Hold on. Where's that at?
Or state. Oh, province.
Province or state. Yes, there we go. Okay. So one field didn't get filled out by my auto-populate. Bam. Look at it. Y'all see how fast that populated on the screen? And we're live right now. I literally hit enter and it automatically popped up on his screen. My information is in there and it is now set up a customer in his contacts. So he's got contact screen over there. I'm now set up in his contacts with all of that information saved. And all you did was send me a quick email while you're bagging up my snake.
And it actually goes one step further. If you actually scan the animal that you're selling, if you use the QRs on the bins, then when you scan it, you just hit sell for that animal, and all this information will be pre-filled too with the price and everything, right? And then you can save and send or whatever you want to do. You can also create a payment plan. If you create a payment plan for somebody and do it over 3 payments and hit send, Zach's going to ask something, and hit send, it will automatically send those payment reminders if they're every 15 days or every week or every month.
And where do you set that up? The actual the reminder.
Yep. You create the payment plan right here.
Oh, and it tells you when. Okay.
And yeah. Select date, amount, and then it'll go and it'll email them, hey, here's your reminder to pay this invoice right today. And then you'll go ahead and pay it. So we're working on those systems too that allow you to run your business when you're not around to run your business. Kind of keep tabs on some of those kind of things.
So right now, if like say Zach's a customer, he came to your table, you sent him there, he filled it out. Now you go and you scan the animal and it populates the rest. Can now Zach pay from his phone?
Yes.
Yes. So is there a QR poppy up there, Rob, to add Robert to add in the item for the customer there?
Well, you normally do it before, right? But we should.
Okay, so here's something that popped up immediately as soon as we started walking through this process. You clicked the get info.
Yep.
I had already scanned the animal to do the invoice.
Right.
That animal should be populating in that field already as the item. And when you click get info and I populate my info, I should be able to pay at that time using my payment portals. And that's something we might need to modify to make that work like Streamline Fast. I just noticed because right now I now have to go in there and click that and enter the animal manually that I just scanned. It should already be in there.
Well, my process is you scan the animal before you start this, or you select your animal and you hit the sell activity and it pre-populates.
So what happens if he does one animal and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what? Since I love this system, I want to add one.
Just search here. Just put in whatever and just search your ID and bam, away you go. Like it's not
and you can just add another item.
An animal, right? But my thought, Zach, the reason I didn't do it the way you said to select an animal here is because a lot of the time it's about getting the price settled in the invoice before you ask the customer for the information, right? So you scan, you set your price, you ask the customer for the information because that's when it has to send them the request for the payment. So we get the information for the customer first, finalize the invoice, then it goes and gets their payment information.
So it goes to the customer twice. It goes to them to get the info.
And then
once we have the info, it auto-populates. You add the animal into the system, which I feel like we need to auto-populate the one that we scanned before.
It was already before, possibly, if I had done it properly, right? If I scanned it properly.
Okay, because we didn't scan an animal. We went and did the manual invoice. That's why it didn't populate. Okay, exactly. I knew we were missing something there.
Right. So we would
you have to scan the animal as the retailer?
You don't have to, but it just, to my mind, you're there with your phone and you grab the deli cup or whatever, and it has the QR code, just scan it, hit sell, then it goes into this already pre-populated.
Then hit get
info.
Okay.
Then you bag the animal. Then you hit submit to finish it because you've agreed on the price now, right? Then it sends it to them if you want to get payment from them. Otherwise, they're giving you cash. The whole thing's done anyway.
Now, is there a field for cash payment?
You would just once you save your invoice, then you do what you want to do to the invoice, right? Because your invoices are then in a list right here, right? Where you can go ahead and refresh a PDF after they've made a payment, because you can receive your payments here, either, cash or whatever, however you do it. You can download.
Is it going to keep track of how they paid?
We don't, when they do it automatically, it does, not when you do it manually.
Okay.
So if you do it manually, you would have to write in here, right?
So my thing is, I scan the animal, I click invoice, I click get info. That animal I scan should be in the line populated in the invoice.
It is.
They send me the info. I should be able to either complete it and send it to them for payment, and they can enter their credit card processing information through Square, Stripe, or PayPal, which we have set up, or I can click paid in cash and total it out right there on the spot.
Right. We can absolutely add that when you're creating an invoice. It just means another button at the bottom of the actual adding of an invoice. Right. But again,
going through this just a little tweak and boom, done.
And same thing with stuff like this. This button, we need a button at the top here also. Right. Here it is here. But do people know that that's the same button? Right. So I even notice little things as I go that we just need to, things like this are going to show us those things. But yeah, so you can save and download it. You can save and send it. Then when you have your list, you can then mark payments. You can send them a reminder. You can send them the PDF again, the paid invoice after they paid it, with payments that have been made and things like that. And then we will be integrated shortly with QuickBooks, so you can push all that stuff into QuickBooks also. So not only are we managing your business on kind of a rudimentary level, but we're helping you with your end of the year fun that we've got going on.
And real quick, just to touch on the QuickBooks, from my understanding, there'll be a point where we can edit our information and stuff and then push it to QuickBooks before we send it there. It's not just automatically sent with the price that is in the system, right?
No, we can do it two different ways, where you push it or you don't push it. So with other systems we built for other clients, in the past, we would allow it to automatically push when they're marking it a certain way, or manually push it later on, whatever you want.
So my cash, maybe we can have it where someone pays by card, we put the amount of the invoice, they pay it, it pushes through. Someone pays by cash, it gives me an option to then enter the price before I push it to QuickBooks.
Right. So yes, transactions
in case maybe they offer a cash discount.
Yeah. So invoices that are taken care of via credit card, via our platform, will be marked a certain way. They're paid at a certain value. There's a transaction history for it. If it's a cash thing, that's really up to you, how you're going to settle your invoices, right? We don't care. Adjust your invoice as you wish, right? Good. That was the question. Good. Okay. So now we've dealt with the whole invoice thing and sending to the customers and everything else. And I just kind of want to also say that it's so important. I think that if you're going to use a system like this, last show we were at Tinley, I heard so much positive response from people that got to our booth, realizing that we were the guys with the QR codes on bins and stuff. And oh my God, the information is fantastic, because any vendors that are showing with the QR code and using kind of the full system here are going and their customers are able to scan, see photos, see lineage, like they can see the parents, right? If you choose to show that information, that's all settable too, or selectable in the system, what you want on your public view pages, right? They're just, different, feeding schedule or feeding history, any of the history that you want is shown, but also what the animal eats and anything you've got in the animal that you want displayed. And it's just such a professional way to show things. And then it streamlines your whole sales process if you want to use this type of system for that.
Question, Robert. Yeah. I haven't seen it in a while because I haven't really used it in a bit. But with that, can I go and change what they can see, and add, say I want to add notes or something? Because
to the animal?
Yeah. So because, say I'm selling something else besides an animal, or say I'm selling something else, like I do the cocoa. Right. I'm doing Da Vinci Boa supplement, isopods, stuff like that. I like to be able to go in and have, when they click on it, the other things like the isopods, especially, because isopods, we usually sell 6 in a group or a dozen in a group.
I will say I've been working with a couple local isopod people who have been utilizing the system, and hoping we can get some upgrades to the isopod system and getting them all integrated. There's just, if you do them, there is a lot.
So I can actually probably help out. So I'm part owner of a large isopod and springtail company here in Canada.
Excellent.
And I think we have 132 different species, all entered in, the Latin names, the common names, stuff like that. So if you want to reach out to me and bug me later on, best way to reach me is Instagram,
no pun
Zach, and I can actually get my partner to, he's using the system also. And there's a few things that, when you add an animal to the store, it's per animal. We'd like to have it where it's per 6, per dozen.
So that
yes, I'm with you on that.
We did, that's easy to do because we did that with weights, because somebody wanted, instead of a weight, a count. So that's how they use that. Was it you that had that? There I know several people have asked for it. So now you can pretty much make any weight measurement that you want, each count, foot, stone, whatever you want, right? You can put in the system now. So we can simply do that with quantity, right? It's not necessarily a quantity. It's instead
for bulk, and that'll translate over to like wild caught sellers and stuff, or sellers of stuff that is not differential by picture. Some of our tortoise species, some of the snake species, some of the lizard species, like they literally 100% all look the same. So you just want to put a quantity in, and yeah, that's definitely a good point.
Okay, so where are we here on this? Okay, so we did the public stores. Oh, event in and out is probably.
Oh yes, this I'm interested in too.
this is
I have an event in and out hopefully in 3 weeks. So.
Yep. Which one is that?
The 14th, I believe.
Oh,
I believe it's April 14th.
And I'm really looking for your insight because you got a bigger setup than I do. Like I did a lot of messing with the event thing because I do 25 shows a year and I'm running 2 to 4 tables, but you've got a much larger scope of animals. So I've been seriously excited to get your scope on this.
So basically what this is it's a platform or a system that allows a seller at an event to check in a number of animals, or check in and out a number of animals that they have going to the show. So what you would do is you would and it's kind of, for me, it's more of a, let's look back and see what we did last show. Because for me, information is invaluable. And however we present it to you today may not be the way we present it to you in the future. So we're trying to get you to gather as much information as possible now. So a year and 2 years down the road, when you're asking other questions, harder business questions about what happened in the past with your business, we'll be able to answer those things. So we go here and we can go ahead and create an event, but I'm just going to look at this current event that I've put up. You basically set it up as whatever. What's that?
So it's great for analytics if you're an analytics freak.
Exactly. So you would just put in your event. You can put in when it starts, when it ends. You can put in other notes, any information you want to keep about the event. You can set up your events and the different events way in advance on what you're going to. And then what you'll do is you'll go down to this bottom. There's 2 tables in it. The table of the animals that you are bringing to the event and a list of your animals, right, with all the filters and selecting and everything that you want to do. And what you'll simply do is you'll go in here and you'll start selecting your animals on the bottom. And here they show up here, and you can go and add these animals to the event. So now I've put these animals into the event. I now have the list of animals I want to take to the event. So there's a couple things I can do now with this list. I can go ahead and I can print this price list of these animals, and I can again use the pricing, the wholesale pricing, whichever other pricing is you want to use. And
where do you print? Is it at the bottom?
No, it'll be up at the top here. So print price list, and it uses the same price list system that we have in the other place where you can make these custom different colors, different designs that we've got. So you can go ahead and now print this price list, and it'll print a price list for you to take to the event. Okay, so that's kind of step number 1. So
that's like a copy that you can have.
That thing is awesome. Yeah, it's my master list that I take to the show with me.
That's amazing.
Exactly. Right. So there's all that. So then we'll come back to the show. We're not quite done yet. So what we want to do now is we want to go ahead and print labels. And these are the labels that
right
go
from
on
here. Oh my God, I love this instead of me going through and trying because when I have like 600-700 animals and I only want to bring like 100, it's going through and clicking. And then, I always overprint or underprint something. So it's like, damn, then I got to go back and then, process of elimination. Oh, here's these 5. I got to go reprint. This is actually amazing. And
the thing is, what we've done too is you've seen this label print designer before. We actually have to change the title here to make sure that you know what field you're in. Zach, if you can make a note of that for me, just the title on this. As we're doing these print functions now, we're actually trying to flow everything through this print engine now.
Now, will this work with the Dymo XL?
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one where you go. It's just called Label Printer, the new Label Printer. It's all the same. So we used to have the Dymo and the sheet.
Oh, so this isn't the print option for the. So if I'm in the one where I'm selecting and then it says print labels, will it ask me what I want to use, my Dymo or this, or does it automatically generate this?
I'll show you in a second. I'm gonna get Zach before I go too far.
Yes, this is the new system where all changes are happening. We are not updating the Dynamo printer label system or the sheet label designer. You can use your Dynamo printer and your sheet labels all from this system. We will be doing away with the Dynamo print label system and the sheet label designer at some point in time. This system options all. So like if you use the Dynamo right there where it says custom, if Robert could click on that for me, you'll see a drop down.
Top left, up.
Where it says custom right on the left-hand side.
See, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Under label details, yes, right there.
Click on that.
Yeah. Which one do you want?
The custom.
Just click the button. Click the drop down so everyone can see.
I did. Yeah, you're just not seeing it. It's not showing up on the video.
Okay.
Oh, I guess it's not. So you click a drop down here. If you were using the Dynamo label printer, all of your Dynamo labels are saved in there that were in the Dynamo label printer.
Amazing.
If you're using the sheet label designer, you're able to set this up for the sheet label. So this does everything. I've done extensive testing on this with the sheet label designer and on the Brothers printer and other Dynamo printer systems. And this system does everything the other two system does. So if you had a preloaded template in Dynamo, it's already in the label designer. Awesome. You will have to transfer over your sheet label designer patterns, but it's literally as simple as going into your sheet labels and either screenshotting it or writing down the settings and then going here and setting it up in the new system. And you'll see in just a second when Robert shows you how much more awesome it is than the old two systems.
Okay. Right. So yeah, exactly. And we also we kind of have to kick ourselves in the head because we've used the word Dymo from the beginning. I know you call it Dynamo, which is kind of even better, but the Dymo system, it's actually, we got to start using the word thermal printers because I think we're confusing a lot of our users. Our print system allows you to print any size you want. You can make anything you want. Like if you have, a printer that prints, 30 inches wide, you can print a label that size with this because it's all about setting up the label. So where we're with this is you can now create different labels for different ways you're doing things. So I have one label for my cage cards, and then I would have another label for my show. So I would go ahead and I would click a load a saved label, right? Load one of these ones that I've created, and up it'll come in here. So I have no idea what any of these are. So let's go ahead and load that.
Yeah, like mine, I've got for sale snakes. I've got grow ups. I've got cage cards for all my keepers. So I do business card size. At the show, I use a restickable Avery label. And you can have all those templates just set up, saved, ready to go.
And the new label designer here, you can change these font sizes. You can move everything around. You can put animal photo. You can put a stock image, background. Any of the fields that are located in, your animal or anything else, you can put on these. But, what you would normally do with one like this is, do a little bit smaller label. I don't know if I can make it smaller. Yeah. So do a little bit smaller label for the cage. And then once you print this through, it works exactly the way. So I'm going to do one at a time. So to Zach's point, this is where you would set it up as a sheet. If it was in a laser sheet, you would then select how many rows, how many columns, your gap, your margin, and things like that. And then you could save this. You really only have to set it up one time. But because I use thermal, I'll go ahead and do one, right? I'll go ahead and hit next. Then I'll select. So it already pre-selects the animals that I have going to the event because we're going from the event system. So those animals are pre-selected already. So I don't have to do anything on this page at all.
You can literally skip this page. If you're doing it from the event, check-in, check-out, you just skip through that page. Don't mess with it unless like you screwed up and you want to go uncheck somebody.
Exactly. Then this page shows us each label as it's going to print. So you can go in here if something is just too long or you just want it to say something a little different, you can make your last modification to the actual label that is about to be printed on this page here. Yeah, Zach, question?
And that one's awesome because like I literally discovered that on my own and I was like so flabbergasted and astonished. I was like I just clicked on something and I was like, what? It lets me change it in this screen. So you're seeing what's actually going to print. So like, say you have that 9 gene freaking animal, you know, that 1 9 gene animal, you know, Billy's got that 12 9 gene animals that are listed. You know, you can go through and see, oh, this isn't going to, I need to abbreviate Orange Dream to OD and Yellow Belly to YB to shorten it up so it all prints on the label properly. So you can go through and make it pretty here. This is really nice.
Awesome.
Exactly. And then you could then save and print or just print it. And again, we print it just like we do. So this print engine, again, is going to be anytime you're printing something, you're going to be flowing through this print engine. And then this print engine, you'll be able to save multiple different sizes of whatever the heck you want. Our incubator labels now even print this way. So if you're doing an incubator label, you can then select any field that you have in your incubation record to go on that label, any size you want, with any graphics you want, right? So all that is available.
Clutches, all your clutch labels, bam, slap them.
So you mean now I don't have to sit there and save and download the QR codes and then, you know, use another system and then copy and paste or, you know, and then make my number and all. So
you can go right here to your incubator and we can go ahead and print label, right? And bam, again, we go in here. This is new. And if I've had this saved, if I had one saved for, which I do, this one here, right? It's got hatch date, total eggs, sire, genetics, everything. Again, I've already got it preloaded. Away we go. Put it on 1 because I use a Dymo, and we go ahead and we finish that one up, right?
Amazing. I love it.
And if this last page, if I wanted to print a couple more instead of just that one clutch, I can go ahead and print a couple of the clutches if I wanted to. And then I'd go ahead and hit next and print, and away we go. So there we go.
I like this a lot.
So really, that's kind of where we're going with this. So everybody needs to get intimate with the new print engine. And if there's any suggestions,
you just set your template up for this stuff once. Go in there and set up your stuff for how you want your cage cards and everything, and how you want your freaking tub boxes to be. Like everything is right in here. And so whenever you go in there and you create the clutch, bam, you click print the label, boom, it's propping up that thing with your thing. You print it out on your thermal, you slap it on your 6-quart tub with your press and seal, and you stick it in the incubator, and you're done in seconds, man. Seconds.
So now after you've gone and you've printed all your labels, we went off a little bit there, but all your labels for the events, we've got Zach's hand. Oh, his daughter's talking to him.
No, you're good. Okay.
Hi, Drea. Hi. Anyway, so once you've got that,
it's Drea. She's here. Wait, hold on. Come here, Drea. Come here.
Come say hi.
She helps me run all this. She's got to get on here. So you got to see my princess. Come here. Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. You walked in here. You're on camera now. Come here.
You're making me be in here.
Hi.
Smile.
Hi.
Look at that guy up there. That's really up there.
Employee of the month right there. If you've got a 14-year-old daughter who works that fucking hard, I'll pay you to see it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So when I go back, so now that you're at the event, you're now selling your animals. As you sell your animals, these will change color based on the ones that you sold and the ones you haven't sold. So you come back now after the event, and you would then go ahead and mark it as sold if you sold it and you didn't mark it at the event. And then you'll be left with a certain number of animals in here that didn't sell or are missing or whatever happened, you can then adjust it. And the reason I think this whole process is important is because then for the next show that comes around, similar time, similar place, you'll be able to go back and see that, hey, I took 5 green tree pythons, I sold 1, but I took 7 emerald tree boas and I sold all 7. What do I take next time? You know what I mean? It just, that kind of information is going to be invaluable going forward for you to start, projecting what you're going to need at different shows or in, a different market at a different time. So
plus it's your accounting there for the show. So you're going through, you're doing a little ad invoice, you scan your QR, you did the get info, they did the thing, you click cash, you modified it down for their cash discount. They paid by credit card, whatever it is, it updates automatically in this screen. And so whenever you're done at the end of the show, you take your sales list, I keep up with my sales list manually because I'm a freak and I just don't trust anything besides pen and paper. And so I'm writing it down when I sold it. And then at the end of the event, I pull up this list. I'm counting empty tub holes, however you do it. And I'm matching up this and I'm verifying everything. Okay, my sales add up. Cool. And then I can print my sales report from here and see okay, amazing. I took $256 in credit card sales. I took $1,235 in cash sales, and
absolutely. And the other thing is, and we just have to keep in mind too, this is just the beginning of the information that we're going to be able to give back because, it's just in its infancy. I think when we started too, back in the day, we said, people were saying, well, how about some reports? We had a couple basic reports and it's well, there's no data in the platform yet to create reports. So it was never a priority. But now that we've built these systems to starting to track all this kind of stuff, now we need to hear from our users to say, you know what, this is fantastic. This is what I use it for. But this is really the report that I want to pull out. I know we had a chat a little while ago, Zach, about another report that we had to get done. And those are the things that all we need to do is hear about it. I need this report and away we go. Billy, you had another question there. I didn't see what it was. I missed it.
No, it was just somebody asking a question. And then one of the awesome users basically put up one of the ways that they do it, which is the same as I do it. I print off. Actually, I have business cards made with my logo in color. I print off the Dymo and thermal, stick it on the business card and slide it into a holder. Some people just print it off the size of the business card and put it into the holder. Saves them a step and probably some money too.
Let me just save you a little step there and a little money. In our system now, what we have is if you use Avery, like your sheet labels, when you're doing your sheet label designer, you just stick your logo on there. I have this at every single show. You walk through and I have 48 slots, 4 AR or 4 next level displays. And you look all the way across there and you see my logo on every single label. You see an identification number, a description, a price, and a sex, and a QR code. And I print that off with Avery. It's all right there. It's all customizable. I've actually messed with the transparency of it. So it's a little grayed out. So if I end up with a long description, like that 8 genetic animal, and it's typing across my logo, they can still see it. So I'm able to adjust that all in a label designer and make it exactly how you want to look. And it freaking looks amazingly beautiful.
So quick question. The Avery label designer are using labels. Are they printing off better now? Because before there was always an issue.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Billy. So I would have to load one page at a freaking time. And it might come off, lined up just right, maybe messed up just a little bit, just enough to piss you off. And you'd be like, shit. And you got to go redo it. Man, everything works way better on the new system. I started and did 100% of my testing in the beginning with the sheet label system. Robert knows. He sent me a printer. He's like, use a thermal. And I'm like, I will use a thermal when we have this sheet label system. Perfect. And it works right for people who don't have a thermal. And so I use an Avery 8066 label. It is restickable. It's a file folder label. I use that at the top of my displays. I also use that here in my hatchling racks. Every single one's got them, so I can take it off. If I sell an animal, I stick it on my business card. I send it to them. They can scan the QR code. It's got all their records. When I'm at the show, I can peel the label off. It doesn't leave gunky junk all over my display. I can stick it on a business card, send it home. The customer can take it off, stick it on their enclosure, and they've got the QR code with all the information. They can scan that QR code, get the information about the parents, the birthdays, the feedings, the weights, every activity that you've set up in your system to do. And it's great. And Robert was nice enough to find me. There is there's thermal labels that are restickable the exact same way. And the thermal labels, actually, you can restick them several times. The Avery ones, I'll be honest with you, you get like 2 or 3 good sticks, and it's like, you better get it good. Like this first time, you can maybe remove it a couple times, but yes, no adhesive all over your crap. You can move it from tub to tub very easily, and it makes things great.
One thing to remember too, though, about the sheet label printing is I think probably half of the problems or more of the problems that came in was when you print on Windows, usually it defaults to fit to size, right? So it will always, it stretches it a little bit in your paper. So you got to make sure either you're using A4 letter and know which one you're using, right? And have your printer set up for that. And when you print, make sure you go to that setting that says scale and make sure it's 100%. There is no change in the scale. And that will help a lot of people.
Little tip for everybody messing with this: print it on a sheet of regular paper. You can very easily hold it over your Avery paper and hold it up to the light and see if it lines up, because those sheets, y'all know, they're not cheap. And just always print a test sheet whenever you're creating a new label. It's just a little trick that saved me. Like when I started printing off all these things, and I was like, I wasted all this money. Just print it on a notebook sheet. You can see real easy where everything lines up, and it lines up much better in the new system. If you had fits in the old system, trust me, the new system is much better.
Hey, Robert.
Yes.
So High Viz has a question. Well, not a sort of concern. Can you just sort of show her? So it says, I've had issues where the QR codes don't work unless the person scanning it also has HP. Has that been resolved? It's never been an issue. You just got to go turn it on to public view.
Correct.
Okay. Yes.
So if you want to just sort of go into the, if you want to sort of go in and
you actually need to create new QR codes too.
Oh, correct. Yeah. Sorry.
Right?
That's
you need it. Yeah. So there's a setting in your general settings called enable.
Just go in there. Go into settings.
Codes, I think. Where am I? Yeah. I keep forgetting I have a screen. You know what? You should be having control here, Billy.
Yeah.
Where are we?
You got it. You got the big screen, Willie. So
I know you got like 4 of them there, Robert.
Yeah. I know.
So there's a few things you got to do first.
Yes. Where am I going?
So it'll say, keep
going.
I
can't see.
So first, see how it says right there, the URL? I don't know. I circle it with your mouse. The URL, where it says URL public accessible QR codes. Halfway down, Robert. Oh, is he frozen again? Oh, Robert.
Oh, he did freeze again.
Yeah. So anyway.
So this is our head of development, and our genius with IT, and he needs a new computer.
No, it's not his computer. It's his internet. So anyway,
no, it's his computer. It's his computer. It really is.
So basically, what you want to do is you got to go to settings, general. Scroll down where you see the on this frozen screen. It's like the 4th option. It says use the URL accessible. Oh, so he'll be back again. So basically, let me do mine.
Yeah, you just use the public URL. And when you use the public URL, it's easy to tell, because like if you're not using the public URL, your QR code is kind of big and blocky, and there's like big, huge chunks in it. If you're using the public QR code, it looks like Billy's that you see there in the background on the Husbandry Pro banner, where there's a whole lot of small pixelated dots everywhere. If you've got big, chunky blocks, you're not using the public QR that the public can scan. You have to use the public codes.
1 second. Give me a second. It's getting me into the back end office. So let me just do this.
So, I know. He gives us fits with that. I'm all like, I keep logging into admin.
Yeah, so I got it. Hold on. My God. I'm going to have to do this manually. Sorry. So, because I don't work I work in Safari, not Google. I should. So I should have had this already done, but Robert said we'd use his screen. So, oh, there it is there. Oh my God, hold on. Wow. Give me a second. Okay, so now I'm in. Let me share. Let me go back to see if Robert's back. He's not back yet. So let me see. Share screen. Share. And I'm going to do my dashboard. So now you guys can see. Now, if you go to your dashboard, and this guy always calls me when I'm on a live. Oh, my Lord. Anyways, so you go to settings, general settings. Okay. Scroll down.
I didn't even know you could have your settings up there. And I work for the company.
Oh, you mean the menu?
Oh, there is way more ways than one to skin a cat in Husbandry Pro. And you'll find that out. Anyone who's a user out there, it's, if you want to use it this way, that way, we've got that in there for you. And that's one of the things I love about the system is like, you don't have to use it the same way the next guy does. They're like, oh, well, I don't use this feature. I don't need it. It's not about this feature. It's about all the other features. We do everything.
Yeah. So basically, you got to turn this on where it says use public accessible QR codes. You got to turn it on. View page, the company name you want or whatever you want displayed. If you want latest activities, you click there. Then you can select the activities: food, weight, follicle size. When it peed, whatever you want. I don't put
so
that.
They're only seeing what you want them to see
For activities.
And you can set like right there where it says limit activities. Like you can set it to where like they only see 10 activities total, and I only want them to see the last 3 weights and the last 6 feedings. And it'll populate that list for you. You don't want them to see this or that. They don't have to.
It's something that's optional. So right now, I just do price, photos, contact form, last weight, and the sire and the dam info. Okay.
A lot of our entry-level breeders do feedings and stuff. Click on your feedings. You want to show the last 10 consecutive feedings? Add it on there. You want to show 27 consecutive feedings? Add it on there. We got you.
So, and then there's one other thing you got to do for your QR codes. So for your QR codes, you've got to do the, where is it? I've said it once. You want to do the updated QR codes, because if it's the old QR code, it won't work for somebody. Turn on read and write.
I pulled up mine. Let me look too.
Robert's back. There's Robert. Hey, Robert.
I was gonna, it's under general settings called use URL public accessible QR code. It's in general settings, about halfway down, bunch of stuff. So scroll up.
Okay, so general settings.
Stop there. Go back down, back down, back down.
Oh yeah.
Go back down, back down, back down. Keep going until you see a lot
Name
of stuff.
you want to be displayed at tons of public info.
There you go.
Top of public info. Yeah, right in there.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know this, but what about the QR code where you have to?
That's it. That's it right there.
So once you turn it on, then the QR codes are generated.
Oh, okay. I thought there was another.
This will turn on the ability for QR codes to be scanned from a normal phone outside of your account. This user will be given the link to view the entire animal, and if this is turned on, additional options will display.
Cool. So basically, I just leave it on all the time. So if somebody comes to my facility and they want to scan, it's there.
This works for a pet store too. Pet store people, be watching. We got you.
So it's I don't want to turn it on and off and forget, because I've done that where I printed it off. I'm like, God damn it! I just printed off 70 labels and they're the wrong damn QR codes. I just leave them. I don't have anything to hide. So if somebody wants to come and scan an animal, you get all the information. You know,
it's also not about hiding stuff either, too, because if somebody is inside the platform and they scan that QR code, they'll be kicked out of their like there's a security system that if anybody tries to scan a QR code while they have the app open within the app, that it kicks them out of the app. And that makes it so that there's no way to get around scanning and seeing information that you don't want them to see. So,
right.
You know, we're very concerned about privacy and what you want available. So that's the same reason our modules, when we set those up for, you know, WooCommerce and OpenCart, you select what information you want being pulled over and put onto those platforms.
Yeah, and like I said, I leave everything public.
Yeah, it's going to always be different what you scan when you have the app open on your system, scanning from your system versus someone scanning from their camera.
Correct.
Like even me, whenever I want to do it, if I ever want to see what they're going to see, I can just scan it from my camera instead of scanning it from the app.
Yeah, and I mean it works amazing. I've been using it like now since it rolled out a year and a half ago, and you know it just works. It's easy. I like the look of the advanced QR code. Is that what you call it, or the?
Yeah, I call it an advanced QR code.
Yeah, I mean I like it. It's more like digital and it looks cooler than just the bigger blocks that looks like something from Minecraft or something, like, you know.
So if you can pop on,
say that again.
Go ahead, Zach.
Are y'all using hand scanners? I've always wondered, are y'all using wireless
I have hand scanner, but usually I use my cell phone. So I use cell phone to do all my scanning, and I use desktops and laptops to do manual entry or anything like that.
Billy, pop on my screen.
So have you tried?
I'm just going to show.
Have you tried a tablet with a hand scanner? We've changed it to where the keyboard pops up and everything on the tablet, so you can use the hand scanner and the tablet at the same time, and it works phenomenal inside your facility to have your hand scanner and just be like, boop. So my daughter sits over there. I've entered weights for 127 snakes in less than 4 minutes because my daughter sits there with the tablet. I sit there with the hand scanner. I'm like, boop, put them in, tell her what the weight is. She types it in. I put them back, and it's like, I mean, we go this fast.
So take a look at this screen here, Billy. And this is one that we're working on right now, and it's in development. That'll be out soon. We're calling it the flow code system, and it's designed kind of for these handheld scanners. It can be this kind, or, you know, the gun. You can actually use your phone for it too, and that kind of thing. But what this will do is it will allow you initially to create flow codes that you can create a code called start, and you can create a code called stop. And then you create codes for different actions. So what you would do is you would scan your start code, then you would scan your animal, and then you would scan your action, feeding, and then it would default mark the feeding at that time. But we're taking that a step further and allowing you to scan the feeding QR code, then scan multiple animals, and it would post feedings to all those animals at the same, you know, with one click.
Wouldn't it be easier just to do rack view?
Well, a lot of people don't use racks, right? A lot of people use it, you know, there's this came from.
I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't use it. I move my animals around all the time. I literally don't even have the rack option. I have to go in there and look at it just to see what other people have because I don't use it. And so for this is for your power users. This is for your 200 plus animal guy who's going through, you know, if you're spending 2-3 hours feeding, this is for you. And you've got a little QR list, and it's all.
So that means you've got to scan every animal though, right?
Well, no, you could do the whole rack too, Billy, but you know as well as I do, before you can post an action to a rack, you actually need further interaction because you're generally not doing the whole rack for anything except maybe watering or things like that.
Feeding.
Yeah, but not everybody eats, right? In a rack.
Yeah. So what I do, so this is how I do it. It takes me literally, so I feed 2,500 animals. It takes me 3 minutes to log everyone in.
Oh, no. I know that. This is actually, the way this came up was a gecko guy that wanted to scan and then scan eggs. Scan the animal, scan eggs, scan the animal. Actually, he wants to go scan the animal, scan egg, scan quantity 1 or 2, and then it's done, right? So this system will be built to the point where you will be able to create custom flows on what you want to happen with different QR codes, right? So it's also, you know, we're trying to make things as simple and easy as possible. And we've even got, if anybody is excited about the Rabbit R1 coming out, I have plans to actually integrate the Rabbit into Husbandry Pro. And a Rabbit is kind of like a little AI device that is half the size of a phone. It's about $200 and it's coming out. It was at CES. It's coming out soon.
Yeah.
But it allows developers like us to build bridges between that and our apps. So you'll be able to, you know, mark rack 7 fed. Bam, it'll mark the whole rack fed, right? Mark animal this fed. So those are the places we're going in the future, including a lot of things to streamline, make things easier, right? Just to, you know, quality of life things for sure.
This is for large scale people. This is for our power users. There will always be options for our users who have, you know, 15, 5, 115, who don't need this level of stuff. You know, a system like this, you're a gecko breeder with 15,000 geckos. You can step up on a step stool because they're stacking them to the ceiling. You can step up on your step stool with your QR scanner and a QR sheet that you can scan all the way down at the ground on your cart that you're rolling around, and not have to look at a laptop, not have to look at a tablet, not have to look at your printer. And you can print your labels like, oh, boop, boop, scan that, boop. All right, bam. I just printed a label for a clutch card for this male, this female, and I scanned another QR code that said that they had 2 babies instead of 1 baby. And I'm able to boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. For this is what someone with 15,000 animals does, going through their system, doing stuff like that. And that's the people we've worked with to get our higher level systems. And we want to have that for you, for our other power users that, you know, like I'm not there. I got 217 animals. And
no, I could see that. I just can't see it for feeding. I mean, feeding, I just go rack. I go to rack view. And then I select bulk feed. And then the 1 or 2 that doesn't eat, I just highlight, submit. It takes me literally 3 to 6 minutes.
It's just a poor example for what we're doing.
Okay,
you know, I don't use the rack views. I go to quick activities
like this,
and I sort by babies. It's like bam, babies is the safe filter. I click all. I go through. I've got a clip on tubs. I uncheck 3 tubs. I hit enter feeding. Done. 30 seconds. Same way you do it. But
that's another thing about the shows, Billy, that we found out is that I talked to Shane from Small Town, and he only uses rack view, right? So
I love rack view.
Only use rack because it's not even. I use quick activities is what I use, right? It's solely. I never touch anything other.
You know what we need to do? We need to do something because I've tried to look at like importing and exporting data. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm lost. So I leave it alone. Quick activities, I don't know how to utilize it properly, so I don't do it. Right, so maybe we should do like, hey guys, like, or do a thing like, hey, this is the best way to do it. Or
it's not, and that's the thing we're learning. There's no best way to do it. Right? There's so many different ways.
One thing we're working on, like me and Robert talked about this in a meeting we had earlier, we're going to be going through in the next month and doing videos for pretty much every single screen through there. I'm going to be working on this a lot lately. And we're going to do videos for every single screen. So you can go to that option. You're like, what does this do? You can click in there, go to a video, and it's going to give you a brief synopsis of how to use that system best for you. And this is not a one way to skin a cat system, and it never will be. That's not what we started off to be. We started off to be, you can use it how it's best for you. If you're a user who has 2,000 animals versus a user that has 2 animals, we're going to make it efficient for both of you. And how can we do that? So by different options and more than one way to skin a cat.
Right. So, and actually speaking to that is, do you remember, Billy, when we started early, I had that, what we called Rack Ops, right? I had that Rack Ops app is what I was calling it. And it's basically a tablet version of just the rack system that allows you.
I still want to, because it looks badass.
I tested the newest version this morning. So it is coming along again. It's back
because
on.
I want to just come up to my racks,
Yeah.
and you can have it. You're going to do it rack A and B.
Exactly. So you can put one tablet in between two racks, or actually we've got it. So now you can do like 4 racks. So you can just slide over and just hit your rack and do your process to that rack on a tablet that you mount on it. But again, where Zach was going with this, yeah, that's for power users. That's for the big guys. But at the same time, we are developing HP Lite, which is a version of ours that is a complete app. It's not. So our system right now is a cloud platform. Yeah, it's a cloud platform with app helpers is what kind of we call those things. But we have a version called HP Lite coming that I just approved the screens for the Animal View today, which is basically a stripped down version of Husbandry Pro for the non-power users who do not require all the features. That is kind of the gateway drug to Husbandry Pro is kind of where we're going with that.
Okay.
So that is going to be available.
Smaller options list.
Like it's going to be a much simpler application, right? For those people who are not ready for the full-blown everything. Having said that, it will still store the data within Husbandry Pro. Your account will still be a Husbandry Pro account, and it will be up to a certain number of users for free, just like our system is. And then when you're ready to advance, there is that path to advance. And if you want to have a higher account later with all the bells and whistles, the light version is still going to work with the features that are in it for the animals that you have. So basic feedings and basic things that you would normally do. And then if you wanted to do something more powerful, you could go into the full version of the app, which is out now, or you could go on the platform. So really there's going to be another couple ways to use it. But at the end of the day, it's all, all the features are going to be available in the platform itself for you to use anytime.
Awesome.
So we're trying to go both ways on this. We're trying to simplify things while we create some of the things for the power users going forward.
So now in this light, is it going to be like, when you come on Husbandry Pro, it's like, bam, look at all these menus.
No,
look at all.
It's going to look, it's a full 100% app designed for app. Right?
So now if you want, you can
look.
always just add something or turn it on and off or.
Yeah. So your account would be the same, is going to be the same account, right? One way or the other. It just depends on how you use it. If you use us in the light version, you can use us in the light version. If you use us in the full-blown version, you can use us in the full-blown version. It's just the light version. We're not going to develop with the sensor push stuff, the breeding plans,
correct.
All that in-depth stuff. It's going to be feedings and all the basic features you need for just
with rack view. Yeah. So if I use rack view, I can still go and do my thing, right?
We're not going to put rack view into the light version. That's more of a breeder type feature, right? So a lot of the features that are in that, we'll bring that out. That will probably be about 3 to 4 months before we start beta testing that. Okay. The rack ops will be out before that. The rack ops should be about another month or so. Because that one's a fairly basic app because it's just the rack view. That's all it is, right? You could use that on your phone too, right? Yep. But we need to, I need to look, or we need to get back and look at a lot of these things and find out how people are using them and why they're using them the way they're using them and why they aren't using other ways. Because I personally don't use the rack ops, or I don't use rack stuff at all. You use it all the time. Shane uses it all the time.
Yeah, because if I could walk up right now and just go instead of always having the phone in my hand.
I can do the same thing though. I can go to my quick view. I can click, if I go to animals quick activities. So this isn't my account. This is a test account that we have. But I could then, select, if I have my emeralds, I would go ahead and select those and then do the feeding and I'm done, right? So I could set up as many of these buttons as I wanted. Female ball python.
So that's what I think. I think I got to set up these quick filters in order for me to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These quick filters are. I don't know why. Like I use.
Dude, quick filters are the best.
Quick filters all the way across the top.
Well, that's what I need, right? That's the thing I haven't done. That's why it sucks for me because I haven't done it. I've opened up the tab.
I've got a dozen plus species.
Exactly. So every species you can do. I know there's some people that you can use
Ball
tags too, right? If you have clown projects, you can set up the tags for different. You can set these up for different groups that you have, different whatever, and just click on those and it filters it out. But for me, quick activities is the way to go because I have all my adults that I'll feed or all my babies that I'll feed but I also, when you're on here, if you have this on your app and you tap your NFC tag, because I use NFC, I will actually go through, because when I feed one of my racks, I feed probably half the rack. I don't feed the full rack all the time. So I'll go and I'll just tap the NFC tags. And as you're tapping them, right, when you're looking at this full list, right, it will start doing this, right? It'll start checking them off as you're tapping them, right? So it's building your list for you. You can also do that with the scanner too.
So right? When you're actually, if you had a computer open and you're doing this, it actually marks them while you do it?
Yeah. So if I take my handheld scanner and I hit QR like that, it starts populating these and checking these off.
Oh my God, that's so cool. So you actually know that you didn't miss anything.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it puts them up in this top, and so it's the way to remove it easily too, right? I didn't mean to do that.
Oh my God, I love it. I got to fiddle around with this now, because what happens now, especially with my daughter, she's taking care of all my geckos and some of the lizards. Yep. So, when she does waters, what day when she did, because last week it was a weird thing, and she's leaving tomorrow to the States for 4 days. For the long weekend. So it's like, okay, what did you do? Okay, we're going to do this tomorrow instead of Friday. So it would actually, when did we do it last? If we did something like this, nice and simple, quick activities, scan, water, scan, did cricket, scan, did the, the gecko food, scan, and it's done.
Absolutely.
And I need to work on this thing.
This is the only screen I use. I don't use it.
I need to start, that's the thing is like, I love Husbandry Pro. It's the best thing ever. I'm not even using it. I love it. And I swear by it. I would never use anything else, or I can't believe I've made it this far without it. Like it's a staple in my life. I'm not even utilizing all the cool shit.
I wrote the thing and I approved everything
on the market.
I can't find half the shit that's there. So, and
yeah, but this is cool, man. I mean, this will save time, and you can go, and when you're scanning it, it actually checks this for you. Like, this is nuts. I mean, I'm going to just I just want to sort of scan stuff and watch it check. I mean, that'll be cool for me, Oh my God, look at this. It's like, but no, I need to do this because
I didn't even know the system did this.
No, I mean, neither did I. I just learned this now. But I mean, I've got my Mexican black kings. I'm breeding them now, and I've got a lot of colubrids, and I've got my hog nose. So, stuff like that. I can definitely do that on here instead of doing the stupid way I'm doing it now.
Yep. Oh no, I know. There's
so many. I love this screen. I do everything. I go into my animal screen to do my bulk edits, like when someone messages me and they send me a deposit or whatever, I mark an animal on hold. I do a lot of that through my animal list screen. But when I'm going through and like keeping up with my collection, everything is through quick activities. I go through and like I have quick filters for everything. So I do babies on one day, like I'm in my baby room. I got all my babies over here. Great. We won't talk about that.
You have a drum that you're hitting the snare and.
So, you go through, I do my baby's room. I have my baby room button. I click baby room. It pulls up everything in the freaking baby room. I hit quick activities, needs feed, fed. I go through, I put a gold clip on 3 of them. That's how I do it. I put a gold clip on 3 of them that didn't eat. I go through, I find those 3 real quick, uncheck. Bulk feeding. It repopulates the list with the ones still needing fed. Only the 3 left that had a gold clipper on.
Yep.
Refused food. Update. Boom. I just fed my entire currently 78 babies in 15 seconds.
I'm noticing, Robert, on here, you have 4 baby GTPs.
Yes.
Are those that you hatched yourself?
No, I traded with a friend who has green trees. I traded emeralds. So no, I'm growing those ones up.
Yeah, because I just got a couple coming in, and I'm looking for more.
Oh well.
Oh man, have you reached out to? Sorry, have you tried Bill Stegall? He's got some he's local to me. He's got some amazing stuff.
Importing is a pain in the ass.
I can get him imported, but I've reached out. Who did you say here in Canada?
Dave Grandy. I'll send you his information. He's a really great guy
from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, he's out on the East Coast.
Yeah, East Coast. I've already messaged him. He's got one right now, and he's got another couple. So yeah, I've already spoke to him, and I've got a lot that I'm gonna grab like 2 or 3 from him, and
check with Drew Stevens too. Check with Drew. He may have something.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, good. So do we have any questions? Because I'm done yapping. Because if there aren't any questions, we can go look at some other stuff.
So basically, I know there's a few things.
Stuff, right?
A sensor integration.
Sensor integration to start working. It would be nice to associate the animal with its.
Oh, sorry.
So which sensor integration? Sensor push or?
Yeah, sensor push as well as Herbstat.
Yeah, both Herbstat and sensor push are supposed to. My sensor push are working. I haven't checked my Herbstats, but if you've got a ticket in and you put it in the last couple of days, I didn't see it. I'm just wondering if Vidal's working on it or Pradeep's working on it. I'm not sure. We'll circle back and try and find that tomorrow, and we'll look into it this weekend.
Yeah, I'll write that down because I've been working on integrating my sensor push myself. So
we'll go through that again this weekend. And you know what? Here's the thing. Sometimes sometimes the developer will change stuff for us and not necessarily let us know. So there may be something going on that, we don't stay on top of those things all the time. We need people to let us know about them when something's going on.
So
a lot of times our guys just take care of it before we even realize it's an issue.
Yep.
If you get a ticket in.
Yep, for sure.
And if you don't know, if something's not working right, if you're having a problem and it's like, man, this should do this and it's not, if you're not sure if it should work right, go down to support, go down to add ticket, put in a support ticket. If you didn't know it's there, it's there. We have a team of developers who check those. We will get it fixed. We will get it worked on. Use it. It helps us. We appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, we also have, so there's a few ways to reach us. If you need to get a hold of me, Robert at husbandry.pro, Zach at husbandry.pro. Billy, do you have husbandry.pro email address?
No, I don't need any more emails. I have too many. info@mutationcreation.com.
There you go. If you need Billy.
And I'll just tell you to go to one of these guys.
Exactly. The other thing
I also monitor the Facebook and Instagram message box.
Right. So Zach will take care of all the Instagram and Facebook if you need him. And you can also open a live chat. We are not manning that 100%, but we man it most of the time. As long as somebody's at a desk, we try to get on top of it. But if it's a development issue, open a ticket is the best way.
Awesome.
And like Shannon said, if it's like basic questions about usage, tips, and tricks, we do have our Facebook group, and it is super awesome. There's a lot of super informative people. We have an affiliate program with lots of partners in our affiliate program who are in that group, and they're more than happy to answer your questions. We're more than happy to answer your questions, for any basic stuff. If it's not, a direct IT ticket, feel free to post it up in there.
Yep. And I think it'd be great if we did this like once a month, with hey, new users or something, or just questions, and we can sort of go through it like here, where you can actually go click here, because like high vis, I can't get it to work. One, they could have the wrong QR codes. Two, they don't have the public view turned on. So now that that's there, there might be 5 other people watching this now or in the next, day going, oh, that's why mine isn't working.
Right.
Well, so if you're still having a hard time with doing stuff and you've been a user for a long time, I'd say, what was it, March last year, Robert? It's worth going through and going to your profile and going through resetting the tour and resetting the tour and the onboarding. And it'll show you a lot of stuff that, like back in the past, we were just throwing stuff out. It was hot. It was awesome. What did you need? What did we got? We can add it for you. And now we've been working a whole lot And one of the things we will be working on that I can talk about is we'll be working on a, welcome back tour, and we'll be working on doing a smoothing out of a lot of processes and procedures. We've added in an intro and an onboarding that makes things more user friendly, and kind of holds your hand and walks you through the initial process of setting the system up to work properly for you. So it's more user friendly for the new person. And it's super awesome. We'll be rolling out a lot of stuff with that in the next month.
Printer for NFC cards.
They're expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, I have
Not that bad. Not that bad.
Like
I have
brand
the
or
Fargo HDP 6600. If you want to print on the plastic cards, I don't know. So this thing was 8,000 or 9,000. So I don't know what are there cheap NFC card printers that encode to
no, those are kind of high. Like for us to get it done for you is not that bad. Like we can do a bulk amount. If you don't like the Husbandry Pro logo, you can order your own on Amazon, but we're really competitive price with what you can get.
No, I think Jason's talking about the NFC cards. So I printed some. So we were bringing that out, and it's still actually in the works. In fact, so our
NFC
label designer, NFC is that. So that card there, that's my business card, which is actually an NFC also. So you can actually tap that card and get all my information.
Hold on a second. So you're telling me you can make some more business cards for me?
Yeah. So they're hard cards.
Link Pro, Robert. Let's talk about the Link Pro for a second. A lot of people don't know about this. This thing is awesome. You're paying for Dot and Link Pro and other systems, and we have it right there. Tap that card. There's your information right there. If you want to give it out, like I ordered 50 of these. I have 50 of these for myself. I only give them out to like what I consider a high priority customer. But my regular customers, I can keep this in my wallet instead of having, 10 cards printed off that are getting messed up in my wallet. The ink's getting ruined. They're getting bent and stuff. I've got one of these, and you can tap that for the NFC, or you can scan it for the QR, and you just saved all my info. You got a little QR, you scan it, boom. It's a link tree.
And
you can set up what fields.
Awesome.
What's that, Billy?
Yeah.
It brings this up.
Well, everybody can have.
And you can set this up. You can change your picture. You can change which one of those fields pop up. You can direct it however you want to direct it. You can put your email address, phone number. It's everything for you. And this is something we offer on our platform, included in the price you're already paying. Like, drop that $5 subscription. You're already paying Husbandry Pro. We got you.
Right. And we're going to develop this out further. But to get back to the NFC card, so to print your own NFC cards, I have no idea a cheap machine that would do it. But you can actually, if you find an NFC or any credit card, they're called CR80 card printers, you can then buy the card, print it, and then you can use an app to write the data to, you can use our app to write the data of that animal to the card. So the app actually does write to the cards. So you would have your NFC card, you would write to it, and then the next time you tap that card, it would read it, right? So if it had nothing on it, you would write to it, and then you would read it later. So NFC to high-vis Pythons, basically, it's tap. It's tap for, like you do with your credit cards.
So Robert, somebody says, how do you get this? You go into your profile.
Yeah, you go
set this up.
The link
Husbandry
tree right
Pro
here is in your profile.
Yeah. So when you go to Husbandry Pro, do you go to your profile?
Is this all levels, Robert? Is this all levels that have access to the link tree?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Link tree profile down.
How far down are we? There we go. Link tree profile.
Yep. And this is where you can adjust things, change your settings on it.
I
And add a whole bunch of different ones. So
add a bunch of links here. We're actually going to make
I've got like 12.
Yeah.
We're going to be adding themes, and we're going to be adding video also, that you can put like a feature video or a blog post or something like that also. So kind of a quick place, to keep all your links.
And that's something Dot doesn't offer. That's something Linktree actually doesn't offer. We're working on making that customizable for you. And that's something you're paying someone else for that you're already paying a subscription to us. If you're watching this, you're probably already a user. If you're not, you need to sign up because we're including that in the package.
King Reptiles, what are you using to scan? What type of system? Apple, or are you using iOS or Android? Because I find that sometimes, depending on the phone, like Austin's, you've really got to sort of angle it a certain way, not just,
Is he Android or iOS?
Austin's old iOS.
Oh, okay. Old iOS. So, yeah.
Oh, desktop. How do you scan from the desktop?
Are you using a hand scanner?
Hand scanner.
Oh, we'll figure that one out.
Yeah,
so
hand scanner, it could be the range or the type, because I've had no issue with mine.
Here's the thing. If it's a hand scanner or something like that, we're not doing anything as far as reading that QR code. We're using hand scanner. So we're not doing anything to read that QR code. We're simply listening for the data to come from your computer, right, is what we're doing. The way these work is they basically just read whatever the QR code is and pushes it to the phone. What is he doing? Anyway, so it pushes it to the app. So that code may have a bunch of letters in it. You would scan it and it would just be pushed. So if it's not scanning, it's not an app issue. That would be your computer not actually doing it. So I'm not sure why it wouldn't, whether it was bent or something. I've never really had an issue with 2D scanning. What are you looking at, Zach? I can't even hear you.
Look at this. It just
because I muted my microphone. My wife was talking to me. Okay. And when my baby walks in and she wants to talk to me, she gets to talk to me because she's awesome.
Sis can't find it would generally mean that you're logged out, because that would mean it's not matching the QR. Does it log you out when you do that, or it just says it can't find it? Are the QRs dirty? Are they?
Are you using the public QR codes? The public versus the private QR codes.
No, it doesn't matter.
If he's in the app,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, if he's in the app, it doesn't matter. And if you're not using the public, then they're even easier to scan. If
I'm with Jordan Parker here.
I can't see any of the chats.
So hold on.
Robert, if you click from private chat to comments over on your right-hand side, you can see what everyone's commenting in YouTube.
I could have been having fun all this time.
Yeah, so if you want to, I guess send...
Open a ticket and we'll have somebody look.
So watch this. So here's this. Only issue I have with this, I'm currently pointing the name servers for the domain name to Linktree, which is, from what I can tell, won't work with the HP link page. And then Eric says, I have the link page set up, but honestly, unless I can point my name servers from my domain name to the HP link page tree, will remain a better option from appearance perspective. What do they mean by...
So Linktree, I guess, allows you to use www.billyrose.com as your Linktree. I can't see why we can't do that. We should be able to.
So is that a simple update for us?
Maybe not simple, but I understand it. So
mine's basic. Isn't mine, Husbandry Pro?
Yeah, well, yours is mutationscreation.husbandry.pro. That's what everybody gets their own, right? Whatever their domain, whatever they would want it to be. So all we'd need to do is, allow our systems to handle that. I think we can do that. Let me check. So full URL as link. As link. Okay, yeah. So we're looking at it. We also have a whole website design system that has kind of been shelved for a little while, just because I didn't love the first iteration of how that came out of the development team. And we're looking at it.
It's a little complex.
It's one of the bigger, businesses are built on just that part of the platform. So it was a little more daunting than I had thought, and it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, but we'll go down that path soon. And we may be waiting till early next year when Font Awesome brings out their Web Awesome plugins, which should facilitate that quite easily. So it may be a a little time before.
And that'll make the personal web pages more customizable, which a lot of people didn't know. You can actually go through in the settings and you can change what your plug is. Your URL for your personal page that you get with the website. You can change the store / if you want it to be mutation creation, you want it to be mutationcreation.org, whatever, you can customize that. So that's always awesome. Like mine is par parts versus like when I go into my profile, it's par parts, pristine pythons, and more.
Yeah, I like that feature because I even have that on my Instagram. So when you go to my Instagram, you know how you have one URL that you can have, like link in bio, like everybody would do that. So now I go there, and when you click it, it brings up this page, and now they can go to multiple different spaces or places from it, and it's absolutely nothing, free with the subscription. It's awesome.
Yep. There's many features that we can add to help out, right? Save you a little bit of money somewhere else.
Eric says more robust customization on the store page would be great. It's okay now, but gives me those MySpace glitter pages.
Well, actually, did you look at it today? That's the old version. I don't think he's seen the new version, right?
Well, and that's what we were just talking about is you've got, so right now you have a modern version and you have an old school version. The old school version I'm liking better because you get more, was it rows or columns? You get more across. And then we have a new school version, which changes the format of it. So you have a couple different options to where, yours doesn't necessarily look exactly like Billy's. And that's what he was talking about. We have an advanced feature, but honestly, if we rolled it out right now, you would have to have a degree in like website design to be able to use it. We do have it in the back end for something like that. If you would like something like that, you can possibly message us. If you're, an email, graphic designer or something, we do have something, but we're working on something more layman friendly where, you've got 10 or 15 options. And because right now what we have is you got two options. You got the old view, new view, or
not anymore. You only have this view now.
Oh, it's just the new view now.
This is the only view you have now, and just
is that old view or new view? So what do we go with?
This is the new style. This matches our website and everything else. So this is the new style completely.
I forget sometimes my system has access to all the other stuff too.
You'll see old stuff, right? Yeah, no, this is the new version. Anytime somebody goes to your store, they come to this one. It does have your full searching, so people can search via genetics, via descriptor, whatever they want. Your store policy would come up here, whatever you've put in your system. And if you weren't here earlier, people can actually buy now. You're set up, it looks like, so people could actually purchase right now. Right?
So, and you can sort by price?
You can sort. Let's go here.
We're working on the filter section there.
Sort
you
by.
You could possibly see a more robust filter system in the future, but we've got a lot of, like right now you can do the sex, you can do the species, you can do the
high to low, low to high,
and then you have some filter options or some sort options for high to low and stuff like that. But we will be working on that in the future too.
We won't be putting in an auction.
No, we won't be putting an auction.
Not at all. Definitely. No.
Not anytime in the foreseeable future, Billy.
And Eric, keep your personal life out of this conversation, bro. I had to. I couldn't resist. So King Reptiles, yeah, we any updates? We did that at the sort of the beginning.
Yep.
So it is.
The playback will be available. What, Billy? About an hour?
No, right away. As soon as
right away.
We hang up, it's good. So awesome.
Yeah, the invoicing, the payments, it's all getting better. It's all been improved. It's all stuff we're working on. That's been a large focus that I've been working on since January the 1st, is working out the feasibility because, you're at your real, true commercial level. And Robert, with his collection, is more at what would you say, Robert? Like a collector level?
Yeah, keeper.
A keeper level. And I'm more at just below. I'm at a breeder level. I've got 217 animals. I do 25 shows a year. So we've been working on smoothing things out between a Robert level and a my level with taking advice from people at Billy's level and trying to roll out something where we have features for this guy, we have features for that guy. I mean, what you're looking at right here in the panel, this is everybody. You know, you're talking about, you've got your commercial level keeper, your breeder, and, you know, your collector. Robert's got a lot of diverse stuff. I've got 13 different species. Billy's got, you know, hundreds of animals. And so we're rolling something out for everybody. We're rolling it out so it's easy for the 5-person, you know, and you can start here, work with it, grow. You know, you never know. The person who comes up today with 4 animals buying a snake from myself or Billy at a show is the person who next year has 37 animals. That was myself. I had 37 snakes after the first year. And I tell you what, if I had started here and started keeping my records here in the beginning, I would have been so much happier instead of coming here as my 6th system, having tested every other system on the market and still had pieces of paper, note cards, spreadsheets, all kinds of stuff everywhere. And within I'm not going to lie, within 60 days of being here, I had got rid of everything. I scrapped everything, all the spreadsheets, all the paper, everything is done here. It's one system to rule it all.
Yeah. I just noticed this, Robert. So this is actually the live data that Husbandry Pro has hit.
Those are the actual numbers for today.
This is fucking impressive.
That's not bad, eh? We never thought it would get to where it is today, you know. It's one of those things, right?
What were we at last year this time, Robert? You know, like say January the 1st. Like we doubled, right?
Yeah. No, we're around 11, 12,000 users.
So this has definitely been our biggest growth year for sure.
Is there a company out there that has more than 18,000 users that are registered users beside Morph Mafia? Because as far as I know, I think we're the 2nd highest in the industry.
No idea. I don't know how. To me, it's not super important. For me, it's all about, you know, making it for everybody. You, because that's your job. So
it's for everybody.
It is for everybody.
We got it.
So High Vis has an awesome thing. I don't know. I didn't really see because you clicked on it and went off. So when you went to sort, what is the options that we have by sorting? High to low, low to high.
In the store?
Yeah. High to low. Can you open it up?
I am. It's open.
It doesn't look
okay. So can you read me the options?
Yeah. So it's name it A to Z, name Z to A, price high to low, price low to high, oldest to newest, and newest to oldest.
Good, because the date posted. I like newest to oldest because if I'm going to a website, and I've had a lot of people freak out at me because when I have 400 animals, and it's like,
now you
got to go through the new 400 to hopefully remember, and it's like, oh shit, I think this one's new. So. That is a very good one. So thanks for pointing that out, but we got it. That's awesome because I really need that. Now, Derek is on here, and I know we've talked about this, and so many people have in the past, a feeder breeder module.
So
Derek's on this one.
So it's one of those things that I'd love to do. Somebody needs to tell me how. I've bred my own Ronuts. I wouldn't know it's not that I don't know where to begin. It's just, I don't know the easiest, best way to do it. And I haven't had a lot of time to research it. I actually did install, there is a laboratory rattery software that's been around for many, many years that I installed last year to try and wrap my head around it. But if we're going to do it, I want it done right the first time. And it was super complex. Sounds good, Derek. That might have been it. Soft mouth might have been it.
Soft mouth.
It was pretty intense.
Yes. Soft mouth.
Because I think that is huge. Because even now that I'm starting to breed, there's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to implement in my own little, you know, how to do it, like per rack and stuff like that. And most of the thing is when the time is, like, I'm culling every 6.5 months from when I put them in, and I know the scheduled date, whether they're still in great production or not. I
just don't know how to manage that. You know what I mean? Like, are they groups? I think they're groups. And then there was just
it needs its separate own module is what it really needs. Because like what we have right now is really a feeder inventory system. And that inventory system is really usable for people who are feeding frozen thawed. And
correct.
Honestly, it works really good for that because I feed, it adjusts my inventory, it alerts, it lets me know, hey, I need to adjust my inventory. But how do we make it translate to people who have random numbers of stuff? Because I mean, like Billy, you've got a new facility now. You know, I've produced 600 plus feeders a week. You're not counting every single feeder. You're not like, I have 627 feeders fed this week. It's like, oh,
well, I kind of do to see the production levels from the rack. So, you know, each week we're producing, you know, in excess of 2,000. And that's so just
I'm thinking more like, and correct me here, I'm thinking more like a proper rotation, keeping track of system to keep
well, that's what we're doing right now for sure.
Colonies for age to make sure your production levels are staying at peak, because that's like, I did efficiency expert work forever, you know, and it's like when I'm doing my tubs, I do 6 in a row because like my African soft birds, I feed all of my adults and all of my holdbacks African soft birds. And I want to rotate those on a 6-month rotation. I want to rotate my rats on an 8-month rotation because I know that my rats can handle a couple extra seasons of rotation and still get peak breeding as long as I've, you know, properly culled and properly kept the right holdbacks. So on my 6s, I've got dates on my tubs where I go through. It's like I know once a month I need to rotate. And so like every 6 months, all of my Africans have been rotated. Every 8 months, all of my rats have been rotated. And how do we translate that into Husbandry Pro to where we can keep up with it? Maybe we can do a QR code and we can stick it on every label, you know, stick a label on every tub, just like we're doing with the snakes, you know, to keep up with like colony age and stuff like that. That's, you know, stuff where I'm super interested in. I think Robert's, you know, super willing, and we can get it added.
I think it's something where we put like something so basic, like here's the racks. You can make racks. You can put the colony size in. You know how many colonies you have. You can track the amount of food you go through a week, the bedding or stuff like that. You know when you're going to, like you said, 6 months for ASF, 8 months. So you have a time. So it'll remind you that, hey, next week it's time to, you know, or 3 weeks in advance so that you can, oh, shit, I've got to call the rack in 3 to 4 weeks. I better start holding back some females. Do it basic.
A holdback
section. The necessities, and then all of a sudden it's like now you can add this or do that and make it where you can add different things to take it to another level. Because
I've got
one
16 females in holdback for grow up for my replacement colonies. So I have a separate holdback section. Like that would be awesome. And then yes.
Okay. Here's the thing. Derek has offered to have a chat. So let's get a few of us into a Zoom call at some point in the next week or so and figure it out. And if we can get a framework for what we need, we'll get started on it.
I mean, I think it'd be great for everybody. No one's done it.
People have asked many times in the past, but it's one of those things that just it takes us off another direction, which we want to do it all. And if that's a feature that actually people would like, we'll go ahead and do it. Okay, so Billy, before we're done here, I just want to let everybody know we are at Zach. When are we where? We're at Daytona, or we're at Dallas.
So we will be in Dallas at the NARBC North American Reptile Breeders Conference, and that will be on definitely not February. That will be on April the 13th and 14th, and we will be there all weekend. I'll have my own booth set up, Parpar Pristine Python, shameless plug. We'll also be sharing an end cap with Husbandry Pro. We'll have a few people out there talking info, passing out merchandise. If you're wanting to stop by, we will have a live demo session available. We'll have a nice video stream showing people options and features that we're optioning now and things that'll be available in the future. And, you know, stop by, take a picture, post it, get a shirt, take a screenshot, do whatever you do. And then we'll also be available in April at the 27th and the 28th. And that will be at the All-American Reptile and Plant Expo. And that's a brand new show circuit that's happening. They're going to be shooting for like the middle of America, and it's going to be a premium level show. You're talking about next step up level to NARBC. It's going to be a great thing. It's a first show out there. We're excited to be out there. We're going to be right front and center with Husbandry Pro and Park Pristine Pythons on that one. The trailer will be there. Stop by, take a picture, take a selfie, post it to Instagram. We freaking love you. If you stop by, you got a download, you want a shirt, we'll get you a shirt. Come by and give us some love. We'll give you some love.
And where was and then Pomona? Somebody asked. So we're in Pomona. Yes, at the what is that one called?
We are in Pomona. We're not doing Anaheim this year. We're doing Pomona, and I believe that is in
Dallas?
June or July. And yeah, Dallas. We're in Dallas. Then we're in Colorado for All American Reptile and Plant Expo. Then we are in Pomona again. And then we are in Daytona. We've got official. We're in Daytona. You can find us right, whenever you got to go to the bathroom, come and talk to us. We're going to be right between the men and women's room, right there in the front room. So we know if you're coming, you will see us. Come by and stop by. And then at the end of the year, we'll be back at Tinley. We'll be back at Dallas again.
Right. So full schedule.
Full schedule.
Awesome.
Full schedule. If it's one of the major shows and it's in America, we're there. The rest of the world, watch out next year. Me and Billy are coming for you.
So CRBE was a consideration, but I believe Florida. So Zach is in Texas, and he drives the trailer all over the country. So we haven't discussed coming to Canada yet. So unfortunately,
we discussed a little bit. Is the CRBA twice a year or once a year?
Just once a year, but the problem is it is a week either before or after Daytona. So we might discuss it for next year. Grant asked us if we wanted to go, and I think it's just too close for us this year. So
definitely this year, maybe next year.
Yeah, St. Louis.
Maybe we can set something up where I could actually have somebody, or even have Catherine. We can get a nice little table, set it up with the computer, with the monitor, and we can actually, maybe I can see about, enlisting Catherine or,
maybe we can get Christy Lynn out there. She's our social media girl. She has been chomping at the bit to get out to one of our shows. I got you, Christy.
Possible. Well, you know what? The other thing, Billy, is Greg asked if you were going out there with Husbandry Pro. So I don't know when Calgary is.
That's in August. I should be I have, the year before COVID, and then last year I went. So it's a very good possibility.
We'll talk about too.
I'm looking at wanting to go with you if you're going again next year to possibly, what was it, Norway? Or where was that show you went to not too long ago?
Oh, that was in the Netherlands.
Yeah, Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
They're having issues
yes.
now. The venue is not letting them have certain dates. So, yeah.
Issue.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure.
Well, I know that's one of my big focuses for the end of the year, beginning of next year, starting to get out to, because we're worldwide. Reach out. If you're from another country, somewhere in Europe, and you want to reach out, you want to join our affiliate program, you'd like to come on board, you've got a nice presence, it's Zach@husbandrypro.com. Reach out to me. We're looking for people worldwide. We're going to work on that next year. It's going to be top of our list.
He's Zach@husbandry.pro.
No. Zach@husbandry.pro.
Not husbandrypro.com. Although I could forward that one. We own that too. So let me figure that out. Okay. Were there any other questions, Billy, that we missed?
No, so far so good. There's a couple. Let me just see. To add to existing inventory on receipt. Like one page got a shipment from Perfect Prey that had, so that's like an inventory list, I guess.
Well, yeah, you can just adjust your inventory at any time, right? Your feeders, right? So, when you're in your inventory, right? I don't know how accurate this one is, but it's probably not very, but you just go and, right? We're going to go ahead and edit the quantity, right? You just change your quantity.
So if you had 19, now you add 100. So
Right.
you got
Exactly.
119.
119, right? So if there's another way that this works, and I use the frozen system, right? Or I use the inventory system for my feeders because I feed frozen. So you can also change the weight on these. You can change the cost, and if you change the cost now, anything going forward will be associated with that cost. So if you have a cost change and you feed an animal at a different cost, then that will flow through to accounting later on. So that data is all being saved.
Cool.
Yeah. And you have to do your own cost averages. I've spoken to a couple of users that were accountants and stuff. So if you have 19 that you paid $1 and you just got another 100 you paid $1.10 for, you're going to have to do some simple math to get your actual cost when you put the 119 in then after. So we haven't gotten that in depth yet.
Or you just feed off the 19 and then add the 100 after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, add it when you're at 0.
Yeah,
right?
and then add the 100 at the higher rate. Makes
just some people do the cost average, right? Add them together, add your cost together, divide it by the 119, right? And then you've got your new cost for each one of those. So
yeah, but then when you run out of the 119, you got to keep doing it every time. It's like you got to do math all the time. It'd be because now when you add another 100, they're not at the same price because now the 100's here. Now you got to do you're always doing math. So
right, but if you want to do it when you
kill the 19 off at $1 and then add the 100 at 110, and now you're good.
Well, no, but if you pay a different price, yeah. But if you want to,
I'm getting a feeder from this guy, I run out. This is something I run into all the time.
I see what you're saying.
I can't keep up with my need for 217 feeders. I go to this guy who can support me, but then I done bought him out. And so now I can't get anything from him for a month and a half. So I'm going to this guy who's charging me X amount for feeders. So I can run like what's a rolling average. So I see about what I'm paying in general for stuff, or you can set it up individually. So it's like you have a direct feeder source, like you get all your feeders from XYZ. They're meeting all of your needs every week. They're all on XYZ. You can see what they are. They change their prices. You got a rolling average. Like, oh, okay, you just roll it in. You've got a different feeder supplier. You can roll it in that way too. Right?
Right.
Awesome.
Like I was never gone.
Yeah, exactly. Here, class there. Okay, Billy, you going to go to bed? I'm an old man.
Oh yeah, you are. No, I got some stuff to do. I mean,
he can always leave. I'm not an old man.
Oh, yeah. I can leave anytime. Holy shit! Look at that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, this has been good. And if we can do this once a month, and then any update or anything, or if there's any problem. So
it shows everything I bought and what I paid for that animal. List of everyone I bought and what paid in a report. So I had a discussion just either today, I think, about
our sales reports. We got to work on our sales reports a little bit.
Yeah, there's a report. I go in there and a lot of data doesn't come up for me because I haven't really inputted a lot of the buyers.
There's a couple of fields we need that I feel like we don't have, as far as like dates and ranges and stuff. To like I like to really drill down. Like I'm an analytics freaking nut. I was an efficiency expert for 10 years. And like, I want to know if I put out a different display, if I set my stuff up in a different pattern, I want to be able to run analytics on it and see what my cost per value was.
Right. So all that. So really at the end of the day, it's just about what exact report does somebody want, right? If you want a certain report, tell us what you want on that report and we'll get that report, right? So we've got a sales by customer report now, right? So there are reports there. Go ahead, Zach.
Random thought. We have the PDF reports here, which is reports we've told you might want. Why don't can we add an option here where you can go to the reports analytics, set your filters, set your data fields how you want it, and save it to where it populates here in the PDF reports, and you've got the quick option where it populates the report for you. Like I was talking with Derek about this a lot. Like there's some PDF reports that we don't have. Like we've got a sales report, but we don't have a year-ending report showing our expenses. Like what animals did I buy? This shows me what animals I sold. What animals did I freaking buy this year and add to the system? Because I have a section where I can add a value in there. I want to know what I bought this year so I can turn that into my accountant.
So sales by customer, is that if I type a customer's name in, it'll pop up?
Yeah, that's what we're wanting here. We've been talking about this one, Billy, specifically today.
Yeah, because if I go to
you would go. I don't really have a lot of data in here for sales of animals. Here's
ice cream truck.
You can select your customer. You can't see these drop downs, but this top right hand, you can see the thing. So you can select your customer here, right, and run a report on that customer. I don't have any sales.
Okay, so that's good. I never knew that.
Can I type in the customer's name in that field?
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, that's a standard field. Oh, you
can.
And
that's, like, I want to search everything that was.
Billy, how many snakes did I fucking sell? That I freaking sell Billy this year?
Yeah, so I would. Yeah, but he's not one of my customers, right? But yeah, whichever customer you have in there, right? You can select multiple customers here too, right? Not just one customer. So you can build a list of customers.
Am I doing this wrong too? So here's what freaks me out sometimes. So if I go to my active, change it to sold, type in the customer's name and all the info, or add them if they're not in my database already, I got to put them in, mark the animal as sold, and then save it.
Right.
Then I've got to go back in and archive it.
Well, you can do a sold and archive.
You can do.
I will say,
how do you do sold and archive at the same time?
There's a sold and archive button, but as a user, as a commercial user, there's no reason necessarily to ever archive anything. That's for commercial and below.
Sorry, I don't archive. Sorry, I inactive. So I have to go. So if I have an animal that just went out the door today, this is what I do. I go in, type in the animal's name, bring it up, edit, go in, mark it as sold, type in the customer's name, how they paid. I have to save it. And then I got to go back in, type the name again, and then inactivate it. And if I sell, 60, 70 animals, I got to do that 60, 70 times. It's a pain in the ass. Unless I'm doing it wrong.
Well, there is a feature, and you know what? I don't even know where it is. You can create your own statuses. So there's something called custom statuses. So you can create a status called sold and archive or inact. Like you can make it.
Okay. This isn't what he's talking about, though. I don't feel like.
No. So I sell on, say, Robert, you just buy an animal from me right now. And I'm like, I'm going to do it on the live right now. I've got to go into that animal.
Yep.
Okay. Hit edit. Mark the animal as sold. If you're in my database already, it says customer. I select you. Then I got to hit save. Right? But it's still a number. I want to have it inactive. I can't do it. I can't go and mark it inactive and put the customer's stuff in. I gotta save it as a sold animal first, and then I gotta go back in and inactivate it.
That actually is what he's talking about. So like right now we have an option that says sold and archived. So when you go to status, it's a default option that says sold, and there's a default action that says archived, and there's a default that says inactive. But there's one that says archived and sold. And what he's talking about is you can add a special option there that says inactive and sold, archived and sold. It can do both transactions for you, but that's a custom activity. If that's how you want to use the system, you go in there one time and set it up to where inactive and sold is an option. And then you can go in and use inactive and sold, because like me and Robert, I won't lie to you, we butted heads about what sold means. Like to me, sold is gone. Like I market sold, it's gone to me. I've given you the animal. If it's not sold, it's on hold. For Robert, sold is left your system. And so you can use it either way.
Sold is gone. Sold for me, it's still in your system. You need to remove it from your system after that, either archived or not, because I can sell you an animal and still have to care for it for a month.
Right. That's what I do. So I'm with Robert. So if somebody puts a deposit down, I can put it on hold. Now, if someone pays that animal off and I don't ship for another 4 or 5 weeks, then it's marked as sold in my system, which means it's been paid off. It just has not left my system. So what I got to do is, it's great for that, So when I go in, I basically mark it sold, put the customer name, and then hit enter, and it's saved. And then when I go and ship it out, I take all the cards of the empty spots, sit down, and then I got to go in there, and then I got to change them as inactive. But if I have a customer today,
right.
What's that?
Or bulk. You could bulk do it, but you can also do a save and whatever. You can create
like
your
save
own
and archive, add an option.
Okay, so I'm going to have to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I don't even know where that is. I don't even remember where that is. But there's a setting, maybe it's animal settings.
Isn't it already there? We already have a keeping track. We have an inventory system.
No, I'm talking about what breeding and keeping supply. Yeah, there is. So there, yes, for that question, there is an inventory system.
There's an inventory system.
Right. So somewhere in here,
to touch on that, Jordan Parker. This is actually one of my guys right here. It's my boy. We're going to work on building that out a little bit more in the future as we work towards making stuff more pet store friendly. There will be a more involved user item system in the future, but right now there is already an item system in place. You just go into the inventory. It's inventory, right, Robert?
Yes.
Yeah, because if I go to inventory, or if I go to store, I can only add animals into the store. I can't really add products into my store.
Correct.
That's one of the things that's on my list for like the next couple months to work on to dry goods or anything not an animal.
Awesome. The issue I have with dry goods a lot of the time is shipping, right? We all know that it costs whatever, $75 to ship a snake cross country, right? Or $100 to ship a small snake cross country. We have no clue what it costs to ship dry goods. So that's always, but we're going to put that in your
hand. If you sell it, you know, if you sell it, because, you know,
not necessarily, because I think that changes like if we try to ship something across Canada, Billy, a little box this big is $28 to go to the East Coast or the West Coast. It's $9 to ship it to California, right? So, you know, the rates are insane. And if it's this big, it's $26. And if it's this big, it's who knows, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we need to work on getting some sort of a relationship with a shipping company who could take care of that stuff for us, Robert.
We can use Canada Post and USPS for sure. And because we have the technology to do that. But yes, we do need a animal shipping company to integrate. Absolutely. So, and that's kind of, you know, the future is, you know, hopefully talking to a lot of these guys and hopefully bringing a lot of these things into the platform. And, you know, we've already had discussions along those lines and we'll be there at some point for sure. What is cough? Zach?
Oh, you're reading? I didn't think you were looking at it
or something.
So, yeah, so we should do these every once a month.
Yeah. Yes, Billy. Yes, Billy. If we can do these once a month, that would be fantastic. It keeps me up past my normal 9 o'clock or 9.
Well, no, we should keep it. I mean, today was just a go through, right? And you got kicked off a few times, but if we keep these to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, it'd be great.
Perfect.
I'm all about keeping Robert up late.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be grumpy.
I'm glad that's on you, not me.
Hey, I've still got to feed snakes. I've got like 2 or 3 hours of work here. I'm just getting started.
No,
awesome.
Thanks. Okay, so we're good, Billy?
I am. Everyone have a good night. Thanks for popping in and your questions. And yeah, see you guys soon.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Billy. Good night, guys. Thanks, everybody. I don't know how to leave. Do I just leave?